Next man up, 1025 The Game. Jake Lyman, Connor Newt with you, broadcasting live from the Busy Bee Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning Game Nashville studios, home of the $99 yearly Beehive membership, where the buzz is always about great service. We will be joined throughout the show by Corey Curtis from News 2. However, traffic is bad out there today, so Corey is on his way in. He was at practice yesterday. We'll get all of Corey's thoughts on day one of joint practices between the Titans and the Falcons, but we will also look at day two, which is getting underway right now. Brian Callahan just spoke to the media down there in Flowery Branch, Georgia. Connor, with a little line change there from in the studio to behind the glass.
Marathon man. I'm doing it all today.
You are. The last couple weeks, you've been filling in all different kinds of places.
I am the Taysom Hill of this station, it seems.
Swiss Army knife. Connor Newt. He was co-hosting with Robbie this morning and now producing for us today. Again, Corey Curtis going to join us, give us his thoughts on yesterday's practice. Again, he was down there in Georgia, so we'll get his thoughts when he's able to get in here. Our text line is driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com, 615-737-1025 if you have thoughts. Couple of quick things on the Brian Callahan press conference that you just heard if you listen to the tail end of Robbie and Rex Road. Brian Callahan says that Cam Ward and the starters going to get about 2 series again. No Jeffrey Simmons, no Kevin Zeitler, which makes sense. Those guys really don't need preseason reps. I'm okay with Cam Ward only getting 2 series on Friday night against Atlanta. I think with the 2 joint practices, it's good to get him out there, as Callahan said, get some game reps in a real stadium with a crowd, wearing the uniform, all that kind of stuff. It's good. But when you have 2 days of joint practices, you just had a joint practice in Tampa. He played in the first preseason game. You don't need to leave him out there all that long. I think if he's going to play extended snaps, it's going to be in the final preseason game.
It'll be next week
against the Vikings. But as I've said before, it makes sense with no joint practices that maybe that's when he plays the most. But it's also the last opportunity for Cam Ward. And if he goes out there and leads an 80-yard touchdown drive on the first time he gets the ball,
bowl him.
What would the point be of bringing him back out there?
You've already seen everything you need. Yeah.
Right. So we'll see what happens next week. Titans will be back in Nashville for the first time in nearly 2 weeks after the preseason game on Friday night against the Falcons. And looks like we're going to see Cam Ward for about 2 series again with a similar cast of characters around him. No Kevin Zeitler. I would assume Lloyd Cushenberry is not going to play as well coming off that Achilles injury. So
Snead will be out, obviously.
It'll be 3.5 of the starting offensive line. Yeah, no Snead. But Brian Callahan did say Kevin Winston, the hope is to get him back next week, dealing with hamstring soreness due to his knee recovery. So good news there for Kevin Winston. Not that I expect him to be a huge factor this year. I kind of compared him to Kevin Byard last week with TD of you might get one, a couple of plays from in his rookie season, but you expect Kevin Winston to take a big step next year when he's a year removed from his knee injury and you can really plug him in. Amani Hooker, is he a free agent after this year?
Believe so.
So
let me do some research.
They haven't extended him yet, but I wonder if maybe that's the plan is Winston's going to have a half red shirt kind of year where, you'll see him a little bit, but he's not going to be a huge part of this defense. And then you'll eventually start to get him more involved, and then he'll be your starter next year.
This is it. This is his contract year.
Yeah, so this is contract year. Sometimes you see these extensions come up, like the Bills just extended James Cook, and we're going to talk about that later in the show. You see these come up right towards the end of training camp. If somebody's going to get extended for the Titans, I kind of expect it to be Roger McCreary. But there's a chance it could end up being Amani Hooker. We will talk about that extension for James Cook because I just have an overarching thought on the running back market in the NFL because it doesn't change. It hasn't changed in 15 years, and I went back and looked at the stats. We will also talk about, looking through here, how much Cam Ward should play the rest of the preseason. We already kind of touched on that on Friday's game, but how much do we want him to play in that Vikings game? And is the energy still a problem for the Titans? Slow starts again. Brian Callahan talked about it early on in his press conference. is the sluggish starts, is that a reflection of Brian Callahan as a head coach? We'll get to that. Again, Corey Curtis from News 2 is going to join us. Connor, when looking at the sluggish starts from this team, it was an issue last year. In games, I mean, you look at the Lions game, the Commanders game, where you got 10 minutes in and the game was already over. I'm a little bit concerned that this is still an issue this year. I get it. It's just practice. But the fact that they're having the same conversations over and over about, man, they can't get out of the gates fast. Like, at some point that comes back on the head coach, and you wonder if maybe the leadership around this team is an issue. I know we saw Cam Ward, the picture of him standing over his team and, seemingly giving it to him yesterday after what was not a great practice. But there needs to be more leadership, and obviously that starts with the head coach.
Yeah, I think that's a head coach thing. And you just heard the head coach reference that. He was asked about, what's wrong with the energy? Why can't you get out to a hot start? And basically he said, once I have it clipped, I'll play it for you. But once he said, sorry, I just lost my train of thought. 3 hours of radio.
Yeah, you've already been on for 3 hours.
Once he was asked that, he said, yeah, well, all it takes is 1 or 2 plays out the gates to get it going. And when he said that, I was thinking, okay, then why can't you do that? Why are you not coaching up your guys to do that? I realize you're not the one out on the field making the plays, but you should be the motivator, and that should be in your game plan to start hot.
Right. He says, yeah, maybe it's less about energy and it's more about the performance, but it's like, if you're consistently not performing early on, I think there's something more there than just like bad luck or something at the very beginning of these practices. They said a couple of a lot of balls hitting the ground early. It just didn't look good early on from the Titans.
I mean, I hate to say it. Sorry. I hate to say it, but was energy ever a problem with the last head coach here out the gates?
Lenny on our text line, driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com, says the same thing. Vrabel would never have been accused of having a sluggish team. And that's the trade-off I think that you make when you make a switch like that. You went from the leader of men head coach, Mike Vrabel, who he was going to motivate that team 100%. But when it came to being a tactician and, the offensive guru, he obviously wasn't that. He's a defensive head coach, and he kept hiring from the inside his coaching staff. Arthur Smith worked out, but Todd Downing and Tim Kelly did not work out, and the offense suffered for it. Matthew in Nashville on our text line asked, would you leave Cam Ward out there for longer if the Titans defense has a repeat of last week and the Titans only get like 2 to 4 offensive possessions in the entire first half like they did against Tampa? I don't think the defense really has much to do with how much we see Cam Ward. Cam Ward has all of what to do of what we see from Cam Ward. If he goes out there and they score a touchdown on the first drive, I think he's done.
Yeah.
Like Callahan says 2 drives, but if he has a good first drive, they'll probably pull him. If they go 3 and out on the first 2 drives, maybe he comes out for a third. It's all about feel. I don't know if you're going to leave him in much longer than 3 drives, though. I think you maybe give him an emergency third drive if you feel like the first 2 were just horrible, but I don't think you see him much more than 3 drives, no matter what happens on Friday night in Atlanta. 615-737-1025 is our phone number. If you want to chime in, we'd love to hear from you. Again, our phone line's driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com. Lots coming up on the show. Again, Corey Curtis from News 2 is going to join us. He was out at joint practices yesterday. Got the whole look at what happened down there in Flowery Branch, Georgia. And, we're kind of just going off reports of what we've seen. So excited to hear what Corey has to say. Also want to hear more about this Atlanta team, because the Falcons, they're kind of the second team in that division with the Bucs. The Titans the last 2 weeks seeing the top of the NFC South. And it seemed like it was a good day for Michael Penix. I'm not a huge Michael Penix believer, but maybe this is a guy who the Falcons can build around, and maybe the Falcons don't look like such idiots for taking him 8th overall last year when they shocked the world in the 2024 NFL draft. Plenty more. Chris Sanders going to join us at 11:15. And again, the running back market in the NFL. I saw this extension for James Cook this morning, and I went and did some research and started to look at how undervalued the running back position is. So plenty to get to here on Next Man Up. Again, Corey Curtis going to join us. Jake Lyman, Connor Newt in today. This September, Tim McGraw will be performing at Trinitix Rock the Cradle in Nashville, a meaningful event supporting newborns and moms at Ascension St. Thomas Midtown. Get your tickets now at rockthecradlenashville.org. Next man up here on this Wednesday morning, 102.5 The Game. Later today on ESPN 94.9 The Fan, the Nashville Sounds take on the Durham Bulls. First pitch is at 5:35. Coverage also available on the Game Nashville app and at thegamenashville.com. Sounds baseball on ESPN 94.9 The Fan is presented by Twin Peaks and Family Leisure. Next man up, 102.5 The Game, Jake Lyman, and we are now joined in studio by Corey Curtis from News 2. He has made it through the traffic and has just walked in studio, excited to get his thoughts on the Titans as they continue their joint practices with the Atlanta Falcons down in Georgia. Day 2 today. They are just getting underway down there in Flowery Branch, Georgia. Yesterday, overall, the reports coming out of the joint practices, it was much better for the Falcons than it was for the Titans. Corey Curtis joins us now. Corey, you were down there in Atlanta yesterday for the practices. Didn't seem like there was a whole lot of positives for the Titans. There were a couple of plays that, and I saw the Titans tweeted them out of like Ward finding Ridley a couple of times, but overall felt like it was a win for the Falcons in day one.
Yeah, I mean, it was definitely a win for the Falcons in day one, and it was not a great day for the Titans. I mean, look, we all make a lot of it, and it's important. I mean, it's you play like you practice. Isn't that what we talk about? I do think they look tired. I mean, talking to them afterwards, I mean, except for Big Jeff, who's just in amazing shape, and he's a veteran and he's been through it. But you talk to some of these guys, and they seem a little tired. I could be wrong. That's just kind of my guess, and that's mentally and physically. I mean, they've been on the road for 7 straight days. When I go on vacation for 7 straight days, I'm tired when it's over, and I'm not making excuses for them. You're looking for, the why, and like they talk about, they want to make these guys uncomfortable so that the game is easier than the practice. And I don't say that to make excuses for them. I say it to say, this is what the plan is, and it explains some of it. Now, the other aspect is you do have to win. You do have to win. So who did you say made some plays yesterday?
Calvin Ridley.
Okay. What does Calvin Ridley have over all the other guys?
Experience.
And talent.
Yeah.
Okay. Right. I mean, really. Okay. So their best player had a good day. All right. They need more good players. You have more good players. You make more good plays. Suddenly practice looks a lot better. What I heard you guys talking about Callahan talking about Drake London. Well, they did well against the rest of the guys. What does Drake London have over the rest of the guys?
Talent.
He's really good. So you need more good players to make more good plays. Bijan Robinson, one-on-one with Cedric Gray on a wheel route, wide open, and Michael Penix puts it on him. Bijan Robinson's a really good player.
Yeah.
And Michael Robinson's a top 10 pick. I mean, Michael Penix is a top 10 pick. He puts it on him. And that, again, that's not all of it, but talent's part of it. Talent is part of it. We saw the second half in Tampa. What does it tell you about the Titans? Back end of the roster, not very good.
Yep.
How many guys have we already seen cut and replaced?
Yeah, they churn the bottom of this roster pretty much daily at this point.
It's because it's not very good.
Yep.
And they know it. Now, the problem you have is when you're picking at the bottom of the waiver wire or the top of the waiver wire like they are, who else is releasing players right now? Other teams that the bottom of the roster is not very good. So that's what you're picking from. You're picking from, the other teams that are near you in the waiver wire who are also churning players.
Yep.
And you're taking a look at their cast-offs and seeing, well, what have they got? And so, there's a reason guys are still on the street. Once in a while you come across one. I mean, Jihad Ward has been pretty good. I mean,
he had the 1 sack on Saturday night.
He's a proven player too.
Yep.
And he's also an available player, a guy who doesn't miss a lot of games. So this is a really long answer for, it needs to be better, but there are reasons.
Yeah. And you're right that the Titans just aren't as talented of a team as the Falcons are, and it's pretty obvious to see that.
Mm-hmm.
And I think Connor and I said it yesterday of the reaction out of practice yesterday in Georgia was kind of what we expected from the Tampa practice of the Buccaneers are the better team. Kind of expect the overall takeaway to be, hey, the Bucs won this practice.
Which is why they were so pleased with the draw.
Right. Saying it was evenly matched.
Yeah, and they were really excited about that, and they should have been because, the Bucs do have a lot of really good
playoff
players,
team from
it's
last
a playoff
year.
team. So, yes. So, they were excited about that, and they should be. I think the Falcons think they can fight for a playoff spot this year. A lot of that's going to be on Michael Penix. They need to get Darnell Mooney healthy, and those young pass rushers that they've got have got to produce. That's going to be part of it as well. And so, there are aspects of it. We talk about game planning. I know that frustrates people. You're not game planning. You're working on your stuff. They're working on their stuff. The first thing Jeff told us yesterday is they did something to him he's never seen before. So they game planned some for Jeff yesterday. And that's smart, because they're working towards who they're going to play this year and figuring out. And like it's practice. We'll see how they bounce back today. If they have another really bad day today, I think there's more room for concern. But we'll see. I know they'll be excited to get home.
Yeah.
I can tell you that.
I mean, you make a good point of even on vacation, when somebody goes on a trip for 7 days, even if
Yeah.
you're not really doing all that much, you come back and you're tired. It's like just
Yep.
excited to get home. And
Well, you're out of your comfort zone.
right. It's like these guys haven't been home since last Wednesday. So
Mhm.
it's been a week. You've still got another practice today. You're still there Thursday. You got a game Friday, and you're probably not back till either late Friday night, early Saturday morning, or the next day. So you can understand why maybe they came out a little sluggish. And again, it's not an excuse. It's just
Well,
looking for a reason why.
Yes, again, and also a little sluggish, like he says. You make some plays, and suddenly, you've got some juice, and there's some competition, but they don't have enough guys right now to make plays.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm just watching Alec Iomanner yesterday. He got, Callie talked about that. He's getting a stronger look. I'm not giving anything away there. He didn't win.
Yeah.
He wasn't. I mean, the interception that Cam Ward threw, Iomanner ran a slant. He tried forcing it in there, but Terrell was all over him. Terrell got the inside on him, and Iomanner's bigger than he is. He needs to use his body
Yeah.
to get between Terrell and the ball, but he didn't. And so Terrell breaks it up. It pops straight up in the air, and Jesse Bates does what Jesse Bates does. He runs under it and catches it. Maybe not a great choice by Cam Ward at that point, but Iomanner's got to win the route. And also, there gets to be a point where I'm a quarterback and there's nobody open over and over again.
Yeah.
You got to try to force it in somewhere. And, there was not a whole lot of winning in route running yesterday.
Yeah. And that makes sense considering the depth that they have at the wide receiver position. Like, as much as Titans fans are excited about Alec Iomanner and Chim DK, like
They're young.
They're young and they're day 3 picks. It's not like these guys were drafted 15th overall.
Even Calvin Ridley, his rookie year, did not have a monster year.
Right.
So now I think receivers these days tend to be further along than they did 5, 10, 15 years ago. But still, there's an elevation standard for some of these guys. And again, I mean, I don't think Chimere DK ever had a 1,000-yard season in college.
Yeah,
So,
and if he did, it was with Wisconsin, maybe.
Yeah, and so I think there's gonna the reason you put your players out against better players, in more competitive situations, is so that they are forced to elevate their game.
Yeah,
I mean, and that's why I say today is important. Do the Titans elevate their game? If they don't elevate their game, then I'm more concerned.
Right, because again, you can say, well, they're still tired. It's been a week, but they're going to be tired throughout the season too. And
that's the point.
It's up to Brian Callahan. It's up to the coaching staff and to the leaders on this team to not be content with what happened yesterday and come out and have some juice today. And we'll continue to get updates throughout the day of what the Titans look like down there in Georgia. Again, it wasn't a good day yesterday. And you mentioned Cam Ward threw a couple of picks. I am a little concerned with Alec Iomanner. You mentioned just not attacking the ball. I think I saw from TD another play where it didn't end up being an interception, but it was a similar type of play where Iomanner could have caught it if he just attacked the football, and instead it ended up being a near interception for Cam Ward. You wonder with Iomanner, like, he's got the size, he's got the ability. Can he go out there and be kind of, I said yesterday, like, have the dog in him to just like go attack the football when the ball is thrown his way?
Yeah, I mean, when you go up levels, there's not a lot of weak spots out there. There's just not. And he was going against the Falcons' best. He wasn't going against their second team.
AJ Terrell's a good player.
And so I think, that was the challenge for him yesterday. All right, we've seen what you can do. Now go out and do it against the best. Okay, it's got to be better. It's got to be better. And he's learned that's got to happen. But they need more from Tyler Lockett. Did you hear Gunnar Helm's name talked about yesterday?
Not at all.
No, didn't. I mean, he didn't make plays. I talked to Gunnar after practice, and he talked about how the coaches are trying to make it hard, and they appreciate that, because then when the season gets here, that there wasn't anybody stepping up and making a play. That's leadership. Jarvis Brownlee Jr. talked about it afterwards.
Right.
It starts with the leaders. And shoot, Brian Callahan talked about it before the season ever started. It's why he started this whole offseason program, trying to develop leaders who will not just show up and lead by example because that's the job, but guys who will drag guys with them and raise them. And they need the Jeffrey Simmons and they need the Tony Pollards and those guys to raise the teammates around them.
We've talked about it plenty about how the leadership exodus for the Titans over the last 4 or 5 years has been steep. I mean, you lost Kevin Byard, you lost Derrick Henry, you lost Ryan Tannehill, Ben Jones. Even like a guy like Taylor Lewan was a leader in that locker room, even if maybe his personality wasn't quite what you'd hope for in a captain type guy. Like, you lost a lot of leadership. That's got to be filled in somewhere.
Yep.
And we'll get to it in a second, but I think maybe Cam Ward is one of the guys who's stepping up.
He has to be, and I think that had to be one of the attractive parts about him is every coach he's had has called him a culture changer.
Yeah.
Because you play at his level, you commit at his commit, or you just don't make it. And so I think that is one of the things you will see over, but he can't be the only one.
Right.
There's got to be other ones. And we'll see who matures into those roles. I mean, Jarvis Brownlee Jr. would be a guy that you would say, he plays with a lot of dog in him, as Terrell would,
right.
as Teron would say. Can he, be consistent enough? Can he be level-headed enough? Because leaders don't get in fights with people in the stands. All right.
That's a good point.
And so, can he be mature enough to be a leader of the football team? He spoke out yesterday about how it wasn't good enough. That's good to us. It's got to be to your teammates.
Right.
And you got to tell those guys, not good enough. We need to be better. So we'll see if that message got across today.
We did hear a lot of Titans players saying that yesterday's practice was not good enough. And you can say it. They got to go out there and prove that they can play better today. And we will continue to give you updates from the joint practices between the Titans and Falcons going on right now in Georgia. 615-737-1025 is our phone number. We will get to your phones coming up next. Jake Lyman, Corey Curtis today on Next Man Up here on 1025 The Game. Next man up, 102.5 The Game. Titans on the practice field in Atlanta for day 2 of joint practices with the Falcons. We will continue to update you on any news coming out of Georgia today. Jake Lyman, Corey Curtis from News 2 in today, along with Connor Newt. Let's go to our phone lines driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com. Trey is on the line wanting to chime in. Trey, good morning. Go ahead.
Good morning, guys. How y'all doing?
Doing well.
Hey, I just wanted to comment on the team. As far as what I seen on the first preseason game, the defense, they're really, really bad. It's looking really bad. The offense looks kind of stalemate, kind of soft. Cam Ward wasn't on time. He wasn't seeing the field good. He was throwing, passes out there in hopes of a receiver being there to catch the ball. It's not looking good, guys. And, I met Steve, at Rivergate Mall when I was working at Foot Locker. He shook my hand and he told me to go out and do the best I can in life. And I look at that team and I don't see it. I'm sorry. I just don't see it. And y'all have a good day. And I love y'all. Y'all take care. Thank you.
Thanks for the call, Trey. I mean, it's preseason. Corey and I were just talking about this during the break. It's like we're all looking for stuff to talk about right now, and they didn't look good on Saturday night. Like you lose 29-7, you didn't look great.
Well, I mean, but most of that was in the second half.
Right.
But
it was 13-7 till late in the fourth quarter.
Cam Ward was 5 for 8. All right. And he was 5 for 6 on the touchdown drive.
Yep.
So he was not hoping, he was hitting. He had one bad pass that was almost picked off. The opening drive, I will say the second pass play, when he rolled to his right and he threw it deep downfield incomplete, he had Calvin Ridley wide open in the middle of the field.
Yep.
And he did not see him. And so that is something you go back and you learn from. Just like the one that was almost intercepted, you go back and you learn from. He is a rookie quarterback. Steve did not play his rookie year, okay, because he needed to learn. And Cam Ward is learning on the fly. And so you're going to have some of that. Defensively, yes, needs to be better. But you go back to that game. Amani Hooker gives up a long one to Emeka Egbuka, right?
Yep.
Was he in position to make the play?
No, it's a step late. He was around the ball, but
he was
right.
on him.
Yes.
He chose wrong.
Yep.
He played the body instead of the ball. He was in position to play the ball.
Right.
But he was in position to make that play. He just didn't make that. And that's the difference. That's the difference. All right. When you make that play and when you don't make that play, Amani Hooker makes a lot of money. He makes a lot of money to make that play. The other thing defensively is injuries are a part of the game. So you play without guys, but this team's defense is centered on one guy and he makes like $20+ million a year.
Yep.
All right. So when you don't have Jeffrey Simmons in there, it is pulling the linchpin from the whole thing. It just is. And they need him out there. They need Tavondre Sweat out there. And if those guys aren't out there, it's going to be a long year because this team's depth is not good.
Yeah, I mean, they've talked about how they don't, and you can say this when you don't have edge rushers, but they've said they want to collapse the pocket from the inside.
You're exactly right.
And it's like when you don't have those two guys out there and your edge rushers aren't very good, you're not going to affect the quarterback.
Well, and also when you collapse the pocket like they're talking about, you don't make your DBs have to cover forever. When you let quarterbacks get out of the pocket and extend the plays, and all of a sudden they're having to cover. Now, the Titans last year, I think they gave up the second fewest pass plays of like 20 yards or longer. Like they did not give up a lot of big plays in the passing. I think they were number 2 in the league in that category. But again, they didn't have a lot of sacks last year. And so, there were a lot of times, I don't know what their third down number was, where you saw teams move the chains because they couldn't get to the quarterback. And so they may have only given up a 12-yard pass or a 9-yard pass, but it was enough to move the chains. And so, you've got to make quarterbacks uncomfortable in this league, even the really good ones. You've got to find a way to make them uncomfortable. That's how you win.
And when you don't have your two best pass rushers out there, they didn't make Kyle Trask uncomfortable very much.
Who's the second best pass rusher? Because I got one right now.
Yes, that's true.
Probably Arden Key.
Sweat probably.
He had one sack last year.
Your best defensive lineman out there. I guess
Key and Simmons would be your top 2 pass rushers at this point. By the way, and you probably talked about this Monday, Tuesday. That Femi Aladejio's got to do more. He's got to do more. He's got to be more explosive off the ball. I think that, and I saw him drop into coverage a number of times, which was interesting. I'm like, didn't they draft this guy to go after the quarterback?
Yep.
But he has to give them more, especially going against backups.
Yeah. Femi, all the talk coming out of training camp was he's ahead of schedule and he looks like he's making plays. And then, to go out against backups in Tampa and really just disappear.
Yeah. That's the worst thing you can say about somebody like in that position, that you didn't notice him.
Yep.
And you didn't notice him.
That's the goal of an edge rusher, is to be a disruptor.
Mm-hmm.
And like we say about Dan Moore, the best thing you can say about Dan Moore is you don't notice him.
Yeah.
Like the opposite can be said for an edge rusher. If you're not noticing him, then you're probably not doing your job very well.
Everybody talked about who? James Williams. Because they noticed him.
Right.
You noticed him. You saw him. So that's a huge check mark in the James Williams category. You saw him. All right. And so the Titans need more guys that you see. Remember when they drafted Elijah Molden?
Yes.
You saw him.
Yep.
He was there. He made plays. He was on the ball, and you couldn't help but see him. Kevin Byard was the same way. You saw him. And so they need more. They need more of those guys. I need to come up with an acronym for that. You saw him guys.
Guys you notice.
Yeah.
Guns. I mean, you would be abbreviated there. Guys you notice.
There you go.
There we go. We got it. Austin on our text line asks, hey, how do you feel about the quarterback signing? Do you think they will change it up again and get a clear backup? Boyle, when you post a 0.6 passer rating in a game, like you're not going to stick around very long. And Semien makes sense. Like he's got familiarity with Callahan.
Yeah.
And
he was with the team last year.
Right.
He was with Callahan in Denver.
So I think it's a fine move that you hope that neither of those guys ever had to see the field in a meaningful game. So,
well, bottom line, look, Brandon Allen is going to be this team's backup.
Right.
And Tim Boyle was not going to make the football team. Now, that doesn't mean you still don't want the best guy possible. And it's hard. You get to a point with the rest of your team when, you do that and then you bring that guy back out and say, all right, follow this guy. You're doing a disservice to the other guys who are looking at you saying, you can't do better than this guy.
Yeah.
You can't, this is the best thing you got for me. Now, again, in that game as well, those receivers weren't running free for Tim Boyle.
No, you can make the point that he was not helped out very much by the guys who were out there. I mean, like Xavier Restrepo was out there for a few snaps with him.
11.
The pick 6 was to Mason Kinsey, and it just looked like they weren't on the same page.
Well, he just looked like he was guessing. Like the caller said, hoping Cam, which I don't agree with.
Tim Boyle was hoping.
Tim Boyle, he was chucking hand grenades and just hoping the shrapnel would hit somebody. Okay, but he was hitting the other team.
Me and TD talked about this on Monday. I went through Tim Boyle's college stats, and I don't understand how he's been in the NFL for 7 years. Like, how did he get an opportunity? He didn't throw for more than like 2,500 yards in any season, and he never had more touchdowns than interceptions in a season.
He is he is Nathan Peterman 2.0. He looks the part. He is big and tall. When you just see him throw the football, it looks good. And from what I hear, he's a real savant in the room.
Right.
And that was one of the appeals to having him in the room. Trevor Siemian also knows offense, and he'll be able to do that similarly as well. But I think they will be able to trust him to function better when the game comes.
Right, when he actually has to be out on the field. Apparently Trevor Siemian looked pretty good yesterday. Was that true? Based on I was seeing that Teron Davenport said that at least he was making a couple of plays here and there.
Well, look, nothing happened down the field for the Titans. Okay.
Fair enough.
They, the only plays I saw happen down the field were when Cam Ward extended and hit Chimere Dike like down the sideline.
Gotcha.
And early Calvin Ridley caught a couple. But as far as making plays down the field, no bueno.
Maybe it was just a low bar of what we're.
I think compared to what they were. The offense wasn't going anywhere. All right. And then they actually started doing some drives, and they did move it a couple of times.
Yep.
And they had some runs in there as well. And I continue to believe that this team will be a better running team than passing team this year, or should be, with the way their offensive line is set up. And I know you got to go, but I did want to mention something about the backup quarterbacks.
Yeah.
I was adamant all summer that Will Levis needed to be the number 2. He had more yards last year than Brandon Allen and Tim Boyle have in their careers combined.
Yep.
Okay. So that's why I was like, Will Levis needs to be the number 2.
In terms of who you felt the best about coming into the game, like I understand Will Levis lost a lot of games for this team, but in terms of a guy who you can come in and the offense isn't just going to crater inside itself, Levis at least could move the football at times.
You knew he could throw it down the field.
Right.
I mean, he may hold it forever, but he will if he has time, he's going to let it fly.
He has the talent to at least make the offense look competent at times. Like there were times last year, as bad as Levis was, there were
first half in Chicago.
He
looked pretty darn good.
Right.
But yeah.
First update from Teron Davenport from day 2 of joint practice with the Falcons. Low red zone 7v7. Michael Penix to Drake London for a touchdown.
Not surprising.
Cameron Ward hits Julius Chestnut on a swing route wide open for a touchdown. Pass breakup.
He's good in the receiving game, by the way.
Which maybe makes you feel better about Tajay Spears possibly missing a little bit.
They're totally different, but he's shifty in the open field. And again, they kept him last year because of his ability to carry the ball.
Yeah.
And that's the hope for him now with Tajay Spears hurt, is that he makes team because they're going to need somebody else to carry the ball. And I like Julius Chestnut for that. I don't like him for special teams. I like him for that.
Chestnut, he's turning into one of the cockroaches on this team that you just can't get rid of. And it looks like he might stick around. Pass breakup for Jarvis Brownlee. Penix to Pitts for a touchdown against Roger McCreary. And Brandon Allen hits Derek Abbey for a touchdown.
Who is that?
I have no idea.
I've never heard of him.
I had no idea there was a Derek Abbey on the roster.
Paul Kaharski's just put out a tweet. Said Cam Ward 3 for 5 in red zone 7v7. Brandon Allen 4 for 5. And PK said nice work.
Okay.
So if PK says nice work, that means it looked competent.
If Paul Kaharski is saying nice work, then maybe it wasn't a sluggish start. Like
well, I mean, he'll be honest with you, and if not a little overly critical,
right?
And so and I always get back to, there was a year the Rams came here and their media was like, "Oh, the Rams were great. They kicked the Titans' butts today." We're like, "What are you talking about? The Rams were awful," and the Rams went on to win like 3 games that year. I mean, that's why we try to be honest with you. I know people think we're soft because we're Nashville. We try to be honest with you about the way the team looks. And I don't know how else to tell you. We don't expect this to be a playoff team. Okay. They could win more games than last year, but they're still not a Super Bowl contender. Okay.
Right.
That's what I'm telling you. PK also said the offensive line worked against the Falcons defensive line 1v1s, and the Falcons in an area the Falcons like to make inaccessible for the press for no apparent reason.
Interesting. Atlanta seemingly has different media rules than a lot of other places, as PK pointed out on
they
Monday
do, but they have reasons for that.
Right. 615-737-1025 is our phone number. If you want to chime in, you can text or call. Our phone line's driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com. Continuing to react to the Titans joint practices in Atlanta. Not a great day yesterday. We'll continue to give you updates on what's going on right now down in Flowery Branch, Georgia. Jake Lyman, Connor Newt, and Corey Curtis here on Next Man Up, 102.5 The Game. Wrapping up hour number 1 here on Next Man Up, 102.5 The Game. Jake Lyman, Corey Curtis, Connor Newt with you on this Wednesday. Titans on the practice field down in Atlanta for joint practices with the Falcons, getting updates as they come in. Maybe not great for the Titans punting situation. Paul Kaharski just tweeted, Johnny Hekker Shankfest right now.
Oh, wow.
So didn't look great on Saturday night against Tampa, and apparently not having a great start to day 2 down there in Atlanta. Did have a text that Corey and I were just talking about during the break. Mike in Lebanon says the Titans' depth was decimated by J-Rob and it hasn't been fixed yet. It's going to take several drafts to build it back up. And he's 100% right. A lot gets made about the final 3 J-Rob drafts, but you could even include the Rand and Vrabel draft in there.
Didn't do much to replace it. Yeah.
Here's who's left from those 4 drafts. Nobody from 2020, nobody from 2021. You mentioned Elijah Molden probably should still be here.
Yeah, and I would argue for Hassan Haskins as well.
Yeah. Haskins, 4th round pick in 22. McCreary's still here. Chig is still here from 2022.
Wiley.
That's it. 2023, you've got Skoronski. Levis technically still on the roster, but he's probably never going to play a snap for this team again. Spears, Wiley, Duncan. So over a 4-year span in drafts, you have 6 players left.
Well, and not only that, I mean, Levis is going to be gone. You know that.
Wiley's probably going to get cut.
Wiley's probably going to get cut, and Duncan's probably going to get cut.
So you'll have 4 players out of 4 drafts who are left.
Yeah, I mean, that's not good. I mean, when you just look at the 3 first-round picks, they should all be starting right now.
Yep.
I mean, look, you don't look for guys who draft in the first round to contribute. They need to be starters, pillars, all right? And so you're down 3 starters right off the bat, right? And at key positions, right?
Yeah.
Wide receiver, tackle,
corner. Yep.
Whiff.
Where are you looking for depth right now? Corner and wide receiver.
And they only have 2 tackles.
Yeah. You don't have a swing. I mean, Hance, I guess, is expected to kind of be the Swiss Army knife guy behind the starting 5.
I don't think they love it.
I wouldn't feel thrilled if I was looking out there and seeing Blake Hance starting at right tackle.
I like the 2 they got, but I've been around here a while. Guys get hurt. Okay, let's give you a positive though. Jackson Slater.
Yeah.
He played a ton of football Saturday night. They really like him. He will scuffle with you. He's a combatant. He's going to be just fine for this team. I'm confident in that. Johnny Hekker, 10 straight seasons of 42 plus net yards.
Yep.
No one else in NFL history has done that. I am confident Johnny Hekker will be okay.
I agree. I don't think there's any reason to sound the alarm bells on Johnny Hekker because, again, it's not like you sign this guy as an undrafted free agent.
He's 36 years old, and he wants to go home. That's what I would say about Johnny Hekker right now.
I don't think he probably puts a whole lot of, not effort, but maybe mental focus into the preseason. It's like he knows what he's doing out there. I'm not all that worried about.
I am confident week 1, Johnny Hekker will be okay. That's not, and I always say hope is not a strategy. I'm not hoping for that. I'm counting on that.
There is physical evidence that you can show that Johnny Hekker is a fine.
There's historical NFL evidence, all-time great NFL evidence that will be okay.
He is a good NFL punter. I think he'll be fine. Quickly before we go to break, I had a thought on the Falcons. Apparently, Michael Penix looked great yesterday. Is that accurate?
He throws a pretty ball. His windup is a little long, in my opinion. I'm no quarterback guru, but he throws a pretty football. I mean, like when Bijan Robinson ran that wheel on Cedric Gray, he dropped it right on him in stride, perfect spiral. It's pretty, and he's tall and lanky. It's just like I said. It's a little awkward coming out.
Everybody laughed at the Falcons when they took Penix 8th overall.
Well, they wouldn't have if they hadn't just given Kirk Cousins $160 million.
I don't know, though. Like, Penix, he wasn't getting mocked in the top 10 by...
Yeah, but he was being mocked in the first.
Right. Him and Nix, I think, both went way earlier than people thought.
Yeah, look, if they didn't have Cousins, people would have been, okay, I get it. But I agree with you. Nobody else was going to jump up to 8 to get him.
Right.
And that's the point.
Maybe the Falcons are smarter than everybody gave them credit for. I did see apparently Cousins was horrible yesterday too.
He wasn't great.
Yeah. So
look, the Falcons made some plays, but I wouldn't say I mean, Drake London made plays, but the rest
Yeah.
of them kind of made some plays.
Yeah, Drake London, the clip going around of him going up and over
Yeah.
Amani Oruwariye, showing off that big frame.
Okay. So he made a great play. Who did he make it against?
Amani Oruwariye. Oruwariye.
Yeah. Okay. He's supposed to. That's that's. I know we got to go to break. That's what gets me. That's the difference.
Yep.
The good teams make those plays. You talked about the L'Jarius Sneed punch out at the goal line.
Yeah.
The great players, the great teams make those plays. We talk about, well, that's a 50-50 ball, but the great teams make those plays.
Yeah.
And so I don't make excuses for guys saying, well, that was a tough catch. I hate that. Make the play.
Yep.
Make the darn catch.
That's
what you're getting paid to do.
It's what separates the good teams from the great teams. I remember watching the 2019 AFC title game and just thinking, not a single player on the Titans defense made a play in that game.
Yeah.
There were times they got the Chiefs off the field, but there wasn't a big sack. There wasn't a turnover. And when the Chiefs had opportunities to make plays, no one stopped them.
Yeah, and when they beat the Chiefs in the playoffs with the Mariota,
right,
Jonathan Cyprien knocked Travis Kelce out of the game, and
Yes,
they went
he
on
did.
to win. I mean, but really, he made a play. He
did.
knocked him out.
And probably should have been a fumble. They didn't call it a fumble.
That's true.
Teron Davenport, 1 minute ago. Cameron Ward just found Calvin Ridley deep for a touchdown over A.J. Terrell. Ridley spiked the ball and pointed to the crowd. So maybe a little bit of juice there.
Well, it's funny because yesterday he tried to make it sound like the crowd wasn't a big deal.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah. You know, I lived here, blah, 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 blah. Yeah, that's because he needed something to be happy about. Arden Key had like 10 people there. He's from Atlanta.
Oh.
Yeah.
I saw he was up there doing karaoke or something last night. AJ Terrell, I saw I guess the Falcons posted that Terrell put the clamps on yesterday or something like that.
Good.
And
he was good.
Calvin Ridley responded on Instagram and said, post them all. Because I guess Ridley got him a few times. Also, a big fight apparently between the Titans defense and the Falcons offense. Both sidelines cleared. They continued at it. And TD says for another 15 minutes. I think he might have meant seconds there.
Yeah.
Because that tweet only came out about 20 seconds ago.
15-minute fight would be the longest in NFL history. Yeah.
Feel like we would have been seeing more of that over the last 15
what are we
minutes.
seeing today?
Juice.
More fight, more juice.
Yeah. More energy.
They got challenged yesterday, and they're responding today. This is what you want to see. Right?
And it's kind of what you felt like you had to see.
Yeah,
Because
absolutely.
If they came out and were just
got pushed around,
had a dud again, you start to wonder if they're ever going to be able to respond.
You find out what they're made of.
Right.
And again, I'm not just sitting here defending Brian Callahan. That's what he's trying to do.
Right.
He's trying to find out what his team's made of. He's trying to test them. He's trying to get them to raise their game. It may work. It may not. I don't know. We'll find out if this is the right move or not. But there is a plan. There is a plan.
Right.
And that plan is going to include some ugly.
Right. Not every day is going to be great. Yesterday was not great, but it seems like just based on what we're seeing, it's better today. I don't know how much better, but it sounds like the Titans are at least making some plays and bringing some energy.
Look, if the Titans went up and down the field every practice,
yeah,
would you have some concerns? Like, who are they practicing against?
Right.
So.
Right. That's especially in the intra-squad practice where it's Titans versus Titans. It's like it should be a back and forth every day, or else
should be.
You might have some serious problems. 615-737-1025 is our phone number. You can text or call. Phone lines driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com. Titans on the practice field in Atlanta. Yesterday, Cam Ward threw a couple more interceptions. We're going to talk about whether it's a big deal that he's turning the ball over in practice or whether we should just, calm down a little bit about what we're seeing from Cam Ward so far. Jake Lyman, Corey Curtis, Connor Newt, next man up here on 102.5 The Game. Next man up, 102.5 The Game, second hour on this Wednesday. Jake Lyman, Corey Curtis, Connor Newt, broadcasting from the Busy Bee Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning Game Nashville studios, home of the $99 yearly Beehive membership, where the buzz is always about great service. Titans practicing against the Falcons right now down in Atlanta. Early returns seem to be good for the Titans. I actually just saw a Falcons reporter. I lost the tweet, but it said Falcons defense having a much harder go of it today. A couple of Titans have gotten loose for long touchdowns. So after yesterday, where Corey told us there was nothing going on downfield.
No, I mean, a couple to Calvin early. That was it.
So the Titans seem like they have at least made a step in the right direction after what was a tough day yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
Yesterday, though, Cam Ward did throw a couple more picks, and that was coming off a few practices where it felt like he had eliminated them. And obviously, you're not going to eliminate all interceptions.
He went 3 in a row without any picks after having like the 6 the
right.
first week or two at camp.
Yesterday, he had 2.
He had 2. Yep. And we have 1 in 7 on 7 and 1 on 11 v11.
Is it a concern that he's thrown, what, now 7, 8, 9 picks in practice? And the point that always gets made is, well, Marcus Mariota didn't throw any picks in training camp until his first preseason game.
His first pass.
And it didn't end up working out. Is it Cam Ward just trying to see what he can get away with right now? Or is there a concern that he's just making the same mistakes?
Well, I mean, what is Cam Ward? He's a gunslinger,
yeah.
right? All right. I mean,
what he
going.
Says.
He's going. No, it's the way he plays. It's the way he plays. But that doesn't mean. But okay. But you've got to manage it. All right. Yep. Last year, Will Levis, 15% of his dropbacks ended catastrophically. They either ended in a sack or an interception. 15.1%.
That is that's crazy high. I didn't realize it was that high.
Insanely high, and you cannot win like that. When you combine Mason Rudolph in as a team, their number was still over 12% catastrophic rate on pass plays.
1 out of every 8 dropbacks.
Yeah. So, for Cam Ward, his number at Miami was 6%. 6% catastrophic rate dropping back. So if he can play close to that 6% number, and I don't expect him to, I expect it to be higher. But if you can keep it to 8 or 9, I think you're in business. If you're making plays and you're still doing some of that. I mean, the big thing for Levis was the sacks. He took an astronomical amount of sacks. You know what Caleb Williams' number was last year?
68. I think
68 sacks. His catastrophic.
Oh,
number,
it
was over 12%.
Yeah,
and he only threw 6 interceptions.
Yeah,
but he got sacked 68 times.
Right.
So over 12% of the time, his dropbacks ended catastrophically. The shocker is Jaden Daniels. His number's over 11%.
Wow.
But he got sacked 47 times. So as a rookie, still took too many sacks. The outlier there is Bo Nix, whose number at Oregon was 2%. Okay. But
it's pretty good.
Okay. What is Bo Nix?
Game manager.
Well, son of a quarterback.
Yeah.
Son of a coach and a guy who's played a ton of quarterback.
Right.
Played a ton of
6 years in college.
Ton of quarterback. And he goes to the Broncos. His number was 6%. So he never put the Broncos in bad spots. And that's what Sean Payton wanted. Don't put me in bad spots. And Caleb Williams put the Bears in bad spots. Will Levis put the Titans in bad spots. So Cam Ward needs to make plays, but he can't put his team in a lot of bad spots. And so that's what he's going to have to manage. I think you're seeing it already. There was, maybe I was doing the show with you last week. He had a red zone period against the Bucs where he had 2 touchdowns in a row and then he dirted the third one.
Spiked it. Yep.
And I talked to Brian Callahan about that. He's like, yeah, it's great. It's great. I mean, that's maturity. That's maturity.
Yep.
And so, yesterday he didn't have anybody to throw to. And, he tried to force the one into Iron Manor. He did. He said, make a play for me at that point. And Iron Manor couldn't do it. So is it on Ward? Yeah. But he needs some help.
Yeah, got to help him out too.
It wasn't, the second one, I don't know what happened, but it just hit the DB right in the chest. I mean, it was safety. There was he either overshot somebody or somebody wasn't on spot, and it just hit the guy right in the chest. But the first one, I know why it happened. And so I guess that's my way of saying I'm not overly concerned. I mean, because look, if he throws 12 interceptions this year, I don't care.
Right.
He's going to throw some picks. Picks happen. And if he scores over 20 points a game this year, I don't care. All right? I don't care.
Right. I think anything 12, honestly, it's less than one a game. Not that, I mean, one a game is a lot, but 12 for a rookie quarterback, I think you feel okay about that.
That's
As long
like
as
0.7 a game then?
yeah, as long as they're making plays though. Like
Yes.
it can't be
There are plays going along with it. Okay, let me give you a number here because I'm stat nerd. All right. People think a lot of Peyton Manning, right?
Yep.
Just little bit revered around here, a little
Right.
bit revered in the NFL. First 5 years of Peyton Manning's career, he threw 100 interceptions.
Yeah.
100. But what else did he do? He put points on the board and he won games.
Right.
So the Colts he was able to overcome those mistakes. And so, Jaden Daniels overcame his mistakes. Caleb Williams did not. And so it's keeping the number manageable and making plays at the same time. If you don't make enough plays, look, your number can be 6%, but if you don't make any plays, it doesn't matter.
Right. If you're just going out there
You're
and
just checking down
and punting every time you go out, that's not.
Yeah. But
obviously, it's better than the catastrophic if you throw a pick six. But if you just go out there and you're punting every time, that's not helping the offense either.
No.
So I agree with you. I'm not super concerned about the interceptions from Cam Ward because on Saturday night against Tampa, he had the one where he almost threw the pick, but I think that's something he can learn from.
Seeing it for the first time in a game.
Right. I liked the thought process on the first third down, even though, yes, there was a player like Calvin Ridley was open and he shouldn't have bailed out of the pocket as early as he did.
But he took the punt.
But right. He needs to get that ball to the sideline.
Yes.
But the thought process of it's third down, I have to make a play is kind of what Will Levis would do last year. It's 3rd and 5. I got to get the first down.
But you're also on third down. You can do that.
Right.
You can take the sack on third down, but you can't do it on first down. You don't take the chance on first down. And that first down sacks, it's funny. When I first met Brian Callahan last year, I said, first down interceptions are the bane of my existence.
Yep.
And he immediately said, oh, first down sacks are the bane of mine. And because he will show you the data. You get sacked on first down, you're not going to score.
Right. It's like a holding penalty on the first
Except
play.
You lose a play.
Right.
You lose a down as well.
2nd and 18 versus 1st and 20 or whatever it is. And we did see Cam Ward was able to come back from a first and 20.
Exactly.
But
you got 3 chances at it.
You're right. Second and 16, 17, 18.
Yep.
You're basically at the point of, all right, maybe you try and get half of it back on second down.
So when is
screen.
Cam taking the chances? That's going to be another thing to watch. Having the maturity to know, hey, this is the situation where I do it. Like, remember last year against the Jets when Levis tried to shovel it back that was an immature play because you had 3 points. You had 3 points and you were winning.
You took the points
You
off
were
going
to go up 2 possessions with that field goal. Sure, you wanted 7 points, but you weren't going to get it pitching it backwards. And that's just, it's like baseball players. You're in the outfield and before every pitch, you know where the ball's going.
Yep.
As the quarterback, you have to know what's the worst possible outcome on this play. What do I have to avoid? Sack, interception. I mean, the great ones like Peyton Manning, Joe Montana used to just, as a Chicago Bears fan, he infuriated me because they would be all over him with the 46 defense. Wilbur Marshall, Otis Wilson, Dan Hampton, and they'd never get a clean shot on him. He would just drop down and take the sack.
Yep. And
just live to fight another day. And as a quarterback, that is one of the hardest, most mature things to do, especially, when you're trying to make your mark as a youngster. But I think Cam's pretty mature. So this is my long answer of saying I'm not worried about it. Am I worried about a lot of things with this team? Yeah, but I'm not going to be worried if he throws 12 interceptions. That's my expectation for Cam Ward this year is 3,200 yards, 20 touchdowns, 12 interceptions. I wrote it on the board in July, and I'm sticking with it.
And I think if you leave the season with that, obviously you can't just go off counting stats. It's got to pass the eye test too. But if you look at that, I think that is a successful season for Cam Ward.
If he plays 17 games, it'll be successful.
Right. If he just gets through the year and doesn't look lost out there,
yep.
that's a win. That is a win for the Titans this year. 615-737-1025 is our phone number. You can text or call our phone lines driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com. We'll continue to update you on what's going on down in Georgia. Titans and Falcons in joint practices. Seems like there's been a few skirmishes going on. I believe, here's Paul Kaharski. 3 semi-fights in Flowery Branch today. Titans defense involved in 2, special teams 1. You can take it as signs of life, I guess. Also slowed down getting anything done. Fair enough. This one was between James Prochet and Vanderbilt legend Quincy Skinner. I got into it. So
Skinner looks big, by the way.
Really?
He's found the weight room. I mean, I don't know how big he was at Vanderbilt, but he looked clearly bigger to me yesterday. I barely recognized him.
Really?
Yeah.
He's a good player for Vandy last year. Van Jefferson and Corey
He didn't
Washington.
even have 30 catches now. Come on.
Well, who had 30 catches for Vandy last year?
One guy.
Eli Stowers.
Not a single wide receiver.
Right. It's that was kind of just the way the offense went. 615-737-1025. More on the Titans when we come back. Jake Lyman, Corey Curtis, Connor Newton, next man up here on 1025 The Game. Next man up, 1025 The Game. Jake Lyman, Corey Curtis, Connor Newt with you on this Wednesday. This week's Nashville's Best Deal is Fat Bottom Brewing Company. Join Fat Bottom this Saturday for their Lucky 13 anniversary party at 844th Avenue North in Nashville. It's a full day of casino-themed fun, live tattoos from Black 13, face painting, balloon art, games, and of course, ice-cold beer. Get a $100 gift card half off while supplies last at thegamenashville.com/deals. And don't miss their Lucky 13 anniversary party this Saturday at Fat Bottom Brewing Company. Titans, day 2 of joint practices with the Falcons. And overall, good results so far. Teron Davenport just put out his second tweet of notes from day 2. Said Jeffrey Simmons and Cody Barton shut down Bijan Robinson's first rush. Titans couldn't get the run going on their first 2 plays of team drills, but Ward threw it away on the 3rd rep. Tony Pollard, long run off the right side, outran the defense to the end zone. And we did mention Ward found Ridley deep for a touchdown over A.J. Terrell, with Ridley spiking the ball and pointing at the crowd. So a couple updates there from Titans practice. We'll continue to get to those. Corey, looking at the Titans rookie class, we've mentioned Femi Oladejo, mentioned Alec Iamaner a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Guys who, through the first couple practices of training camp, I think Titans fans started to get excited. It's like, oh, Femi's made a couple plays. Alec's made a couple plays. Did fans get ahead of themselves a little bit, or is this just maybe the rookies getting accustomed? And we mentioned they've been on the road for a while. Maybe they just need to get back home and reset a little bit later on in training camp.
We all like to get excited about the new guys.
Yep.
We do. We all, there's guys I want to see play. I mean, I want to see Iamaner and DK play. I want to see Gunnar Helm play. And so when they make a play, you feel validated, you know, for that. And you think, oh, well, they're certainly they're better than what we had. Who are they doing it against? All right. And, can they do it more than once? Can they repeat it? You can't get over your skis on expectations for a lot of these guys. All right. You just can't. Kevin Byard didn't have a monster years his rookie year. He worked his way in. Keith Bullock played special teams his rookie year. He wound up being, to me, one of the best Titans defenders that they've had. He was a great football player. So, you can't build up your expectations too high for a lot of these rookies. Now, Cam Ward is different because he's the first overall pick and he's a quarterback. Right. And that changes everything. There's a reason the Titans brought in Van Jefferson and Tyler Lockett. These are veterans. They're not veterans they plan on keeping long term. They're there to hold the spot until some of these guys are hopefully ready.
Yep.
Okay. So, look, they wouldn't have signed those guys if they thought these guys were going to be able to come in and start. All right. And by the way, if they thought these guys were going to be able to come in and start, they wouldn't have been day 3 selections. Okay.
It's a good point.
All right. They're round 4 picks. There's a lot to like about them, but it's going to take some time. And that time may never come. And we've seen that. I mean, and again, you're young. I'm old. There was a guy named Dominique Edison. The Titans drafted, I think, in the 6th round. I can't remember from where, but wide receiver. And last preseason game, he's fighting to make the roster, and we're like, he needs a game. He scores 2 touchdowns. And we're like, wow, 2 touchdowns. You never heard from Dominique Edison again. And I hope Dominique Edison's doing great. I was rooting for him. But you can't get too caught up in it. Yes, you have to produce, and you have to produce no matter who's against you. You have to produce at that time. But just when guys are rookies, you got to temper your expectations. You need progress.
Yeah.
Like Tavondre Sweat last year, you can argue about how good of a year it was. He had 1 sack, but he was out there. He was a force in run defense. And you could argue all you want if a run defender should go out in the 2nd round or not. But he was a starter. He was a presence. He needs to be a bigger presence in the pass game, in the pass defense for sure. But when you say, does he look like he belongs out there as a rookie? Yes, he does. Right?
Yep.
And so for me, that's a good start. Now he's got to take the next step. And so that's what we're looking for with those guys. Can they start to sprinkle in and show they belong out there? Bryce Oliver, one of my favorites. Last year, didn't make the team. Got cut. Practice squad, works his way up, gets on the active roster, starts playing special teams, becomes a core special teams player, gets on the field, catches some passes late. I mean, that's a guy.
And now he's a roster lock for this year.
Yes. I mean, that's a guy who got better.
Right.
And so that's what you're looking for from these young guys. It's not where they start. It's what's their trajectory that they're on. So patience, and that's hard when you're 3-14.
100%.
I understand that. but patience.
Yeah, you make a good point about the new shiny toy. It's
Mhm.
like if Chigakonkwo has a really good day, I don't think Titans fans get all that excited about that.
No, but if Gunnar Helm scores 2 touchdowns, woohoo!
He's Travis Kelce.
Yes.
Next Travis Kelce.
Yes. Give him 87.
But
Get 84 off him. Give him 87.
And it's like we noticed, you said earlier, like yesterday, you didn't notice Gunnar Helm.
Yeah.
And
I talked to him afterwards. I didn't see him during.
Right. And it's like Titans fans might be like, man, bad day for Gunnar Helm. Is he not as good as we thought? When Chig disappears for a day, no one cares because it's like, you know what Chig is.
He disappears.
He disappears.
And then he explodes.
Right. It's everybody knows what Chig is, so you don't get excited or disappointed when a practice doesn't go their way. But for Gunnar Helm, when you're like, man, we don't know what Gunnar Helm's going to be. No. Every day you live and die by it.
They really like him, by the way. They like him. I mean, he's going to play.
Right.
He's going to play.
It seems like it's going to be Chig and Gunnar Helm as your top 2 tight ends.
Josh Wiley's in trouble.
Wiley. I don't know if there's a path for him to make the team.
I think there's a better path for him to play in New England.
Yeah.
I will say that.
Yeah. Vrabel wants to bring him home.
I could see a couple of roster acquisitions coming up in a couple of weeks for New England and Mason Kinsey and Josh Wiley.
Yeah, that's true. I don't know if Mason Kinsey's getting snuck through the practice squad this year.
He can have Jalen Duncan as well.
I think there are plenty of options for Mike Vrabel if he wants some of that 2023 draft class.
He can have all his favorites.
A sequence here from Easton Freeze, 11-on-11, low red zone. Handoff to Julius Chestnut, pass short middle, complete to Tony Pollard. Handoff to Pollard, pass to Tyler Lockett, broken up. There's Chigakonkwo, walk-in touchdown from Cam Ward. Pollard stuffed inside the 5-yard line, and then back-to-back incompletions from Cam Ward. Pass thrown out the back of the end zone, and a pass to the middle was broken up. So, again, the Titans are down there in Atlanta, and we're getting updates. Here is Joe Patrick, an Atlanta Falcons reporter from 92.9 The Game, says, Cam Ward has been much better today from my eye, taking more of what's there underneath, but still connecting or coming close on some deep shots.
Adnan Ikic?
That's the guy I found earlier.
He reports Penix 1 for 4 inside the 10 on 11v11.
There you go.
No touchdowns. London twice. So he went to Drake London twice, and they were both end zone targets. So they were both incomplete.
Okay.
So again, Titans stepping up today, making more plays. I'm not sitting here saying, oh, they're better than the Falcons now, but the Falcons gave it to him yesterday. They're giving it back today. This is what you like to see. If they didn't give it back today, you could really go, gosh, what is up with this team?
Right. And we'll get the overarching takeaways, which always happen at the end of practice. You'll get the tweets from everybody of who won the day and how good was it for the Titans offense. By saying this, I don't think it's going to be, man, the Titans dominated the Falcons today. It's going to be, it was pretty evenly matched.
They competed with them like it was in Tampa, and they're a 500 football team, and that's what you're looking for.
When you're a 3-14 team, being competitive with the teams that are fighting for playoff spots, that's
at their place,
important. Right?
And you're a Titans. You're day 8 on the road. I saw PK tweet this, and it's funny because he's right. The tired stuff being overrated. They're staying at a really
I know. I saw that
winery.
tweet from PK.
I mean, they are. They're staying in the lap of luxury. But the mental fatigue of being away from home, away from your families, away from your familiar environment, that's real.
Yep,
that's real. You don't get to escape. You get to go back to your room.
Right. It's not. And these guys have a routine when they're at home of, this is when I'm going to get to the facility, and
these are the people I lean on.
Right. And you have to separate yourself from that for a full week. Again, not an excuse. Like you still
life
have to
on
go
the road
out.
is life on the road.
Right. And like you said, Brian Callahan trying to make it tough on his team, and clearly
we're going to the winery.
We're going to the luxury hotel, and you're going to like it.
Hey, no cheese sticks tonight. All right. You can have some of that bread and olive oil stuff.
Yeah.
You have
the
that.
little dip with the,
You can have some of that.
Justin from Greenbrier on our text line, driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com, says, after hearing you guys break down how many players are left from the past 5 drafts, it's depressing. The best thing Titans can hope for are most of the rookies make a place for themselves on this roster.
Well, you hope it's a draft like 16 and 19.
Right,
where you get the
Pro Bowlers.
Those were the teams that built those teams that had 6 straight winning seasons.
Yep.
That is why. and a successful trade for Ryan Tannehill.
Yep.
Those are the moves that got you 6 straight winning seasons. The drafts that followed it tore it all down. I mean, you can do one and still do the other. All right, and that's what they do. You win in this league by drafting well.
Yep. And even 2017 and 2018, even though you didn't get superstars, like there was no Kevin Byard, Derrick Henry, Jeffrey Simmons in those drafts, but Corey Davis and Adoree Jackson were first round picks, and they were productive players for your team, even though they
played.
They weren't as good as you maybe hoped that they would.
You can remember plays that each one made. I
Right.
still can see Corey Davis going deep and scoring on the Buffalo Bills under the lights at Nissan Stadium.
Yep.
All right?
Jonnu Smith, third round pick in 2017.
Corey Davis beating the Eagles with the touchdown in the end zone, going sky high from Mariota to pull it down.
Right.
I mean, you can remember plays those guys made to win games.
You found guys who helped you in those drafts. 2018, it was only a 4-man class, but Rashaan Evans wasn't very good. He made some plays, though. He made a big fourth down stop.
He started for what, 3 years?
Yes.
Yeah.
Harold Landry was the second round pick in 2018.
And he was a core player for this team.
Dane Cruikshank,
good special teams
He was
player.
a good player. He
And
had the fake punt against the Texans for a touchdown.
And they called him their secret weapon in the dime.
Right. He was the tight end killer. He's the reason they could shut down Travis Kelce.
Travis Kelce just threw a fit at Nissan Stadium.
Right. So you drafted productive players. We're going through 2020, 2021, 2022, even 2023.
Yeah.
You can find 2 guys who are productive players for this team.
Yeah.
And that's pretty much it.
Well, and there's a couple we think should still be on it, but that's neither here nor there.
Right.
Yeah.
You can't change that. 615-737-1025 is our phone number. Again, we'll keep giving you updates from Atlanta as they come in. Titans, seemingly a better day today for the offense, the defense. Seems like they have responded
and
well.
That doesn't mean they're going to the playoffs.
Does not mean that the wins in a joint practice or evenly matched in a joint practice gets you absolutely nothing when the regular season starts.
It means you've got some pride to you.
Right.
And you've got some guys capable of winning some battles and making some plays. And
so
that's what you're looking for.
We'll continue to give you updates as they come in. But again, seems like it's a better day, which it kind of had to be. We'll step aside from the Titans for a second. James Cook signed an extension today, and I just have a thought on the running back market overall in the NFL because it doesn't move. It does not. 615-737-1025 is our phone number. Jake Lyman, Corey Curtis, Connor Newt, next man up here on 1025 The Game. Next man up, 1025, The Game. Jake Lyman, Corey Curtis from News 2 with us for the full show today. Connor Newt behind the glass. Titans are in Atlanta for joint practices, wrapping up out there in Flowery Branch. We will give you all the takeaways when they come in around the top of the hour. Believe Cam Ward going to be at the podium at 11, so we'll try and take some of that live if we can, and Chris Sanders joining at 11:15. I had a thought today when I saw James Cook's contract extension. 4 years, $48 million, $30 million guaranteed with the Buffalo Bills. And I understand James Cook is not Saquon Barkley. Like, this isn't the top of the running back market. But it just made me think of how little, if at all, the running back market has moved in 15 years. So let's go back 5 years. Derrick Henry signs his extension with the Titans. 4 years, $50 million. So, again, Derrick Henry, a better player than James Cook. But $2 million more for Derrick Henry 5 years ago than what James Cook is getting now. Let's go back 15 years ago. Chris Johnson's extension with the Titans in 2011. 4 years, $53 million, $30 million guaranteed. James Cook just got $30 million guaranteed. I understand, like, James Cook, probably not the top of the market, but he's the next running back to get paid. And they got the same amount of guarantees 15 years apart. It is crazy to me that it doesn't change. James Cook does have the most guaranteed money of any running back now with $30 million, and the most overall value of any running back with $48 million. And it's the same as it was 15 years ago. I get it that Barkley and McCaffrey, they signed these 2 or 3 year extensions, but it's crazy to me with how much the NFL has grown that the running back market just doesn't change at all. It hasn't even gone up $20 million.
Most of these guys are replaceable.
And that's what it is, right?
And James Cook, I'm surprised he got the money he got. He's a good player. He's replaceable. When you talk about Derrick Henry and you talk about Chris Johnson, what are you talking about? The focal point of a team's offense. I mean, absolutely. 2 home run hitters,
right,
who were focal points. The offense started with them. The Bills' offense does not start with James Cook.
It's true. You got the MVP.
And you could even look at the Eagles and say the Eagles' offense, does it start with Saquon Barkley or does it start with Jalen Hurts?
That's the question.
Yeah.
Right.
Now, there was some Jalen Hurts struggles last year, and Saquon Barkley got them through it.
Yep.
And that is why he got paid. All right. Because they saw that. They said, if our quarterback struggles, this guy in the running game and receiving game is good enough to get us through. Christian McCaffrey, 1,000 yards rushing, 1,000 yards receiving, same year. That doesn't happen.
Yep.
That's a unicorn. So he gets paid. But the rest of these guys, they bounce around and they go from team to team. Joe Mixon's a good player. You like to have Joe Mixon. He's a good player. I got no problem with that. DeAndre Swift's I think he's pretty good, but he's on like his 3rd or 4th team because he's replaceable. I mean, that's all there's. Now Jahmyr Gibbs is going to get paid.
Yeah.
Because he reminds me of Chris Johnson.
Yep. He's got the breakaway speed. And I understand that. It is the replaceability of the running back position. And like Kyle Shanahan has been the one to show it the most of like, you can throw Raheem Mostert, Jeff Wilson, whoever, throw him in his offense. Yeah. He'll turn him into
he brings in guys you never heard of.
Right.
And also they go for 100.
Yep. Yeah. And they can figure it out, but it just it shows you the way that the game is trending.
There are so many guys. I hate to say this. There are so many guys who can carry the football. Like, do I think Julius Chestnut is capable of getting 100 yards in an NFL game? Yes, I do.
Yeah,
I do. I just do.
In the right circumstances.
You gave him 24 carries. I think in the right game with this offensive line, with Zeitler next to Latham and Cushenberry in the middle. I think so. He could. Now, does that mean I think he's an elite NFL running back? No, I don't. But my point is, there's a lot of guys who can run the football. There's not a lot of guys who run it like Derrick Henry or Chris Johnson or Saquon Barkley.
But even with Derrick Henry, 2021.
Oh, he was terrible.
He got hurt in 2021. And
not earlier when he first came up, he was not good.
But 2021, he had the foot injury against the Colts, and there were a lot of people saying, "Well, the Titans, they may be in first place now, but they're about to fall apart."
And
they put Deontay Foreman and Dontrell Hilliard in there, and they figured it out.
Well, and Deontay Foreman's a great example. Deontay Foreman was really good. Deontay Foreman was 3rd on my Heisman ballot
Yeah,
coming
out of Texas.
He was a 2,000-yard rusher coming out of Texas. He's a monster.
Yep.
I mean, a monster. And there's a lot of those guys. Just at that position, it's like middle linebacker. That's why they don't get paid.
Yep.
Unless you're a unicorn, okay? Because there's just a lot of guys who can fill that role adequately. The special ones stand out. But if you're not one of the special ones and you want to get paid, it's probably not going to happen.
Yeah, and it just shows you like the top of the market for running back has moved marginally over the last 15 years. I went back and checked the quarterback. The highest paid quarterback in overall money in 2011 was Eli Manning.
Oh, yeah. It's
$97.5 million total value for his contract.
Quarterback, edge, wide receiver. That's where all the money is.
Exponential.
Yeah,
and
all the money
it's the difference in the game
and
of
corner some, because you got to stop those guys.
Even 20 years ago, it was the running backs were way more important.
Yeah,
Now it's all quarterbacks and wide receivers.
I grew up in Chicago. I mean, Walter Payton was it.
Yeah,
I mean, right. I mean, and a lot of teams were built that way. I mean, the Dallas Cowboys were great with Roger Staubach and Tony Hill and Drew Pearson, but Tony Dorsett was pretty darn good back there. You know, the Pittsburgh Steelers, Franco Harris, Rocky Blyer. You know, teams were built in the backfield,
right,
and running the football. And I mean, Terry Bradshaw's in the Hall of Fame. I don't know what he is today. Okay?
Right. You make a good point of quarterbacks were expected to do a lot less back then.
Yeah. And they turned the ball over a lot more.
Yeah. Eli Manning would be the 18th ranked quarterback in total value for a contract right now.
Yeah.
Just 2 ahead of Cameron Ward's rookie deal. Cam Ward is the 20th highest paid quarterback in the NFL in terms of overall contract value.
Who was the last rookie quarterback who got paid was that Stafford?
I think.
Or was it Sam Bradford?
Bradford got the really big one from the Rams.
Well, I mean, and then they put the cap.
On it. So I think it was Sam Bradford.
Teams were getting hamstrung by guys who had never played, and it was terrible.
You had to go out and pay these guys like they were Super Bowl winning quarterbacks when they hadn't played a single NFL snap.
No.
So just a quick thought there, because I saw 4 for 48, and I'm like, that's the same contract that teams have been handing out for 15 years to running backs. It's like
he's after guaranteed money.
He got $30 million guaranteed over 4 years, so
that's a 2-year deal.
Yes.
That's a 2-year deal. But again, I don't know if I would have given it to him. I would have stopped finding somebody else.
Like James Cook is a good player, but you're right. Like look at the Jaguars. They spent a first-round pick on Travis Etienne, and things are not going well with Travis Etienne.
Well, I mean, when you play the Buffalo Bills, okay, we got the Bills this week. Who do you got to worry about?
17.
And I mean, he's the straw that stirs the drink.
Yep.
I mean, that's just, is Cook a good player? Yes. I'm not trying to disrespect that. I'm just saying with that position, there's a lot of guys who can run the football.
Yep. And James Cook gets paid, but 4 years, $48 million. 2011, Chris Johnson, 4 years, $53 million. The running back market continues to stay stagnant. Third tweet of the day from Teron Davenport with joint practice notes.
Okay.
Let's go through some of the highlights here. Low red zone team period. Ward worked quick passing game, a couple of incompletions before finding Chig for a touchdown. I believe we saw that one. Nice play, Brandon Allen to James Prochet on a slant for a touchdown. Kirk Cousins threw a touchdown to Jashawn Corbin. Apparently Arthur Blank is out there on the field. Ward just ripped one to Imanner on a crossing route. Good timing on the play. Ward hit Van Jefferson across the middle a few plays later. Jeffrey Simmons with a would-be sack. Quick arm over move to slice inside and get right to the quarterback. A lot of motion from the Falcons offense. Drake London with a nice gain. Kyle Pitts with a nice gain. And James Williams got a sack on a blitz. So there you go. Some highlights there from Simmons, Ward, and James Williams. And apparently the Titans cornerbacks not looking very good outside of their 2 young guys, Jarvis Brownlee and Roger McCreary. So updates coming in from Atlanta. We are continuing to give them to you as much as, it is just practice.
Much better, though.
Feels like the Titans having a much better day on day 2.
And that doesn't mean they're just giving it to the Falcons. It means it's competitive out there, which is what you want to see.
Right. 615-737-1025 is our phone number. If you have thoughts on the Titans, we'll keep going on the Titans after this. And again, Cam Ward expected to speak to the media shortly after the top of the hour. We will try and bring some of that to you live and in its entirety if we can here on the program. Jake Lyman, Corey Curtis, Connor Newton, next man up here on 1025 The Game. Finishing up hour number 2 here on the program. Next man up, 102.5 The Game, Jake Lyman, Corey Curtis from News 2, Connor Newt with you today. Titans about to wrap up practice down in Atlanta. Day 2 of joint practices with the Falcons ahead of preseason game number 2 on Friday against Atlanta on News 2. So tune in with Corey Curtis on Friday night on the sideline. Not a great update from Atlanta, from Paul Kaharski. Will Levis level throwaway. Cam Ward flushed right by Brandon Dorlus, picked by D. Alford on sideline as Ward didn't get throwaway out of bounds. So we saw it on Saturday night against Tampa, where Cam Ward rolling right, tried to throw it away, and it landed inside the white, which is never what you want. And apparently this time in the joint practice, it came back to bite him through the interception. First pick of the day that I've seen from Cam Ward. So a learning process, but that's something that can't happen in a real game, is leaving a throwaway inbounds, because as we saw with Will Levis, he did that against the Bears. Not sure if he was trying to make a play there, throw it away, but ended up costing them a football game.
Yep. And so the question is, does he learn from it? Like you said, he got punished this time. And so, we'll see if he learns from it. And if he doesn't learn from it, there's more reason to be concerned. But again, I'm not going to look at one play.
Right, in a joint practice.
And just say, this ruined the whole practice. I mean, there's a lot that's good, and there's obviously going to be some that's bad. And when you have a rookie quarterback, and again, it's because you're making excuses, Bob. No, guys, Marcus Mariota going pickless through the whole training camp doesn't happen. But it also is the difference in the mentality of the players. And we talk about, he is a gunslinger. He's going to take chances. He's at times he is going to have to learn about reeling some of that in, and it may take a little while. Now, it can't be at a Will Levis 15% rate.
Yep.
I don't know what number to put on it. Like I said, Jaden Daniels was 11% last year, but he made plays. I'm saying 11% of his dropbacks were catastrophic. And so Cam's number at Miami was 6. I would think if he could be like a 9%,
that'd be great. I think under 10, you feel good, especially as a rookie.
Yeah.
But you're right. We've said it before. It's a balance of he's got to take shots, because in the NFL, you don't get a whole lot of opportunities.
But some of those shots have got to pay off.
Right. You can't throw a pick every time you take a shot. And not that we've seen that so far, but Cam Ward with another interception. This time apparently tried to get the ball out of bounds. And
it wasn't in the red zone.
No.
Well, that would be worse.
Yes.
That would be worse.
Yes. Another Marcus Mariota-ism of how long it took him to throw a red zone interception in his career.
Because he valued points. He valued the football.
Yes. Marcus was the opposite of a gunslinger. Like at times it felt like he was too scared to go try and make a play, especially towards the end of his career.
I don't know if scared is the right word, but cautious.
Yes. Cautious, I think.
Not wanting to put the team in a bad spot. I mean, I would say ultimate team player. But at that position, like you're saying, take shots. You got to take shots.
Yep.
Got to take shots.
Teron Davenport's 4th tweet as we continue to look through the updates from joint practice. Full team move the ball period. So I believe this is the last
this is
last stretch
when it's like an actual drive.
Right. Everybody comes together. So Falcons started up, Penix to London on the first play, then Pitts for a first down. London again, but the Titans defense did stop the Falcons, did not give up points. Ward comes out, found Chig, incomplete to Ridley, and then it was the interception under pressure, tried to throw it away, but it didn't get to the sideline, picked off. Kirk Cousins was sacked by Ali Gay to end the drive, and apparently Brandon Allen with a couple of passes to James Prochet across the middle to move the chains. So
Prochet trying to be the 7th receiver for the football team.
Right. We mentioned it that they're keeping 6. Yeah. You're not keeping less than 6.
No, six are on the team.
Ridley, Jefferson, Lockett, Iamaner, DK, Oliver. Those are locks. They're in. Prochet is the question mark.
Well, the big question now is with kickoff return, with Tajay Spears hurt. This is Prochet. He's got to make plays in the receiving game, but I'm sure he's going to return kicks.
Yeah.
I mean, I've been told that, but it would make the most sense. He will return kicks coming up on Friday night on News 2.
Yep.
And he's got to prove that he can be a guy back there to do it until Tajay gets back. Now it still could be DK back there, but Prochet can try to say, hey, I'm a vet. You can trust me. I got this, because they've changed the kickoff rule. If you kick it through the end zone now,
35.
There's going to be a lot more returns. There are. And so you got to have a guy back there who can do it. And most important, hang on to the football.
And on the unofficial depth chart, which doesn't mean all that much,
No.
Jaquan Jackson is listed as a starter, but he's not making the team.
No,
So,
he's got 0% chance.
Right. Jackson is about as low on the receiver depth chart as I think you could be. So it's going to be DK or Prochet back there. Prochet, if he keeps making plays on offense, that is going
helps.
to help him make the team, because as much as your 6th and 7th wide receivers can't just be wide receivers, they have to be able to do something on special teams. You also don't want them to never be able to do anything on offense, because
Nick Westbrook-Akine,
right,
he was a gunner. He was a special teams player, but inevitably was a starting wide receiver by the time every season ended.
Yeah, because injuries happen.
Yeah.
And for the Titans over the last few years, wide receiver injuries seem to just be a plague that they can't get away from. So,
and old never really worked out for them.
No. With Jefferson and Lockett, it's like, Jefferson's not that old, but like Lockett at 33, even though he is the king of preserving his body and getting down before he takes the big hit, you can never really trust that he's going to make it through the full season.
Well, you just, how explosive is he at this age?
Yep.
Because, he's been an explosive guy who makes plays down the field. And so, I think again, I hate always saying this, temper your expectations.
Yes.
The Seahawks let him walk for a reason.
Yeah, he's a 10-year player there. You don't let those guys get away unless they don't serving you.
I remember when the Ravens let Ed Reed walk, and everybody jumped up and down. They got to sign him. They got to sign Reed's available. And he signed with the Texans and I think one other team.
Yeah.
And he was
maybe the Jets.
He was just so washed. He was just done. They both cut him after a few games. Brian Urlacher was the same way. The Bears cut him.
Yep.
And, Brian Urlacher was that team. He was the face of that team. And when the Bears let him go, everyone's like, they got to go get Urlacher. I'm like, guys, if the Bears are cutting Urlacher, he's done.
Right. And there are exceptions to that rule of like, the Seahawks let Bobby Wagner walk, and he's put together a couple of really good seasons.
Isn't he back with him?
I believe he is now, because he was with Washington for a little bit. He was with the Rams for a little bit, but I think they brought him back.
Yeah, he's a unicorn.
It happens sometimes, but for the most part, if a team is letting a guy who's been a staple of their franchise for a decade walk, there's a reason.
Yeah.
And the Titans should know better than anyone is the retirement home for wide receivers over the last 15 years.
Have any of them worked?
D-Hop, you could argue, had worked out for a year.
I was talking to somebody in the newsroom about him yesterday, and they're like, I can't believe they traded him. I'm like, he's done.
Yeah,
but he put up numbers after he left. No, he didn't.
He had one good game to start. He had 2 touchdowns in the Super Bowl, which get both in garbage time. But
he got the Chiefs offense. He got Patrick Mahomes, and he didn't put up numbers.
Yep.
And everybody thought, oh, he'll go there and he'll be 100 yards. No, he was struggling to see the field.
Yeah.
And it wasn't just because
he lost his love for the game or whatever he said.
Well, they talked about, the draft position was dependent on snap percentage, and it wasn't. He just wasn't good enough.
Yep.
And we all get to that point, and it's sad, but we all get to that point.
615-737-1025 is our phone number. We'd love to hear from you. You can text or call. Our phone line's driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com. Cam Ward is getting ready to step to the podium after joint practices in Atlanta. We will try and get some of that to you coming up next. Jake Lyman, Corey Curtis, Connor Newton, next man up, 102.5 The Game. Next man up, 1025 The Game. Final hour on this Wednesday. Jake Lyman, Corey Curtis from News 2, Connor Newt with you. Titans wrapping up practice down in Atlanta. Cam Ward getting set to speak to the media. We will bring that to you when he is ready. We are broadcasting from the Busy Bee Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning Game Nashville Studios, home of the $99 yearly Beehive membership, where the buzz is always about great service. Again, waiting for Cam Ward to step up to the podium. Quick update from Browns practice. Shedeur Sanders, who was expected to start again this weekend, if Kenny Pickett and Dylan Gabriel remained out, injured his oblique in practice today and will be evaluated. So Cleveland's quarterback room
You can't
continues
throw the
to
football
get
when
beat
you get
down.
that done.
Right. Obliques, baseball is where
Did they hire Vrabel's old weight training coach?
Maybe they did. He was there last year.
Oh no, really?
Yeah, he was a consultant to the head coach, wasn't he?
Oh no.
So maybe he brought the curse with him. But
look, connect the dots.
If the Patriots next year start having a long string of injuries, of soft tissue injuries, maybe there is a causation to be made between those two. But yeah, Shedeur Sanders is now injured. Kenny Pickett is dealing with a shoulder injury. Dylan Gabriel, a hamstring. So I'm guessing Joe Flacco is not going to be all that interested in playing in preseason games at 43 years old or whatever he is. So it might be a full Snoop Huntley game on Saturday.
We've seen that before on Monday Night Football, and it was awful.
Hey, Pro Bowler Snoop Huntley.
Vince Young made the Pro Bowl too.
Yeah, that is true. That is true. He was Rookie of the Year too. But yeah, Snoop Huntley with, I believe, 2 passing touchdowns in his Pro Bowl season a couple years ago, when basically every AFC quarterback said they didn't want to do it. Report here, Calvin Ridley walking off the practice field yelled, "We won today. Y'all write that." So
yeah, I mean, look, they heard it. I mean, with I was there. Every post practice interview was about not winning.
Right. How bad it was.
Yeah, not great. And the way to not have those interviews is to not lose.
Yep.
And so it'd be interesting. I know it's your show, but I just found this and I want to bring it up.
Go ahead.
ESPN has a list of ceilings and floors for every team.
Oh, I like it.
And this one was written by Teron Davenport, of course, covers the teams.
There we go.
And I think just about everyone would agree with this. He's got their ceiling at 9 and 8. You'd have to have a lot of things go right.
If everything went right, I think 9 wins is...
It's the NFL.
It is possible.
It's the NFL. So, I mean, look, nobody had nobody had the Commanders doing what they did. Nobody had the Broncos where they were last year. So it can happen. It can happen if everything goes right. Now, the floor, he has it 4-13. And I understand why, but to me, Cam Ward gets hurt.
Right.
The floor is like 1-16.
I would hope they're taking injuries out of this because if Cam Ward gets hurt, there is no floor. Like,
the floor falls out.
Yes.
So with Cam, I would say the floor is 4 or 5. And I say that, I know people think I'm crazy, because of the offensive line.
Yeah.
And I actually think the offensive line will be a relative strength for this football team this year. And so I think their ability to run the ball, keep themselves in manageable situations, and protect the quarterback and give him some time to make some plays on a more consistent level will elevate them to at least another win or two.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think if you had better quarterback play, better offensive line play last year, there's
6 or 7 wins.
3 or 4 games you could immediately say, they probably win those.
One of the Jacksonville games for sure.
Right. The Bears and Jets at the beginning of the season.
We got 3. We just named 3.
You got the 6 right there. So it is conceivable to think that if everything went right for the Titans, the offensive line is better. Cam Ward comes out and has an offensive Rookie of the Year type season, and the defense, maybe L'Jarius Sneed does end up playing and being healthy all year.
Yep.
Like, there is a path to this team being in the hunt late in the year. There's a path.
Sure.
It's a very narrow path.
And we're not blowing sunshine and rainbows here. We're saying if everything went right for this team, the best they can hope for is to be in the hunt.
Yep.
And so that is not
not
going nuts on a football team. Saying, they might be. I mean, shoot, the Commanders were in the NFC Championship.
Right. They won 12 games last year.
And they were a disaster for 2 decades.
Yep. 9 wins, I think, is a gettable total. 10, I don't think is gettable. I don't think there are 10 wins on that schedule.
We would have to go through schedule.
Right. But you look at 4-13 as a floor, even if Ward isn't great and if the offensive line is below average again, you still play the Jaguars twice, the Colts twice, the Browns and the Saints. Like, even if you're bad, those teams are.
They get to play the Saints?
Yeah, here.
I think the Saints are going to be the worst team in the NFL.
I think it's fair to say that they have the worst roster in the NFL.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, and they have the worst quarterback situation in the NFL.
Yeah, they're still rolling Spencer Rattler out there.
Rattler or Shuck, or is it Jake Hayner who's there? The S2 phenomenon guy.
They should start Taysom Hill.
Yeah, let's just embrace it. Kellen Moore, throw Taysom Hill out there as your starting quarterback for a full year.
Watch Shuck outpace Cam Ward this year.
Yeah.
Corey, you're an idiot.
How funny would that be? Shuck.
I mean, they took him in round 2, right?
Yeah, he was the third quarterback taken.
I mean,
behind Ward,
and Dart. Yeah.
And then I think it was Shuck and
Gabriel.
Gabriel and Milroe were in some order there.
Oh, yeah, Milroe was round 3.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Was Shuck the only second-round quarterback? I think so. And then
nobody's talking about Jalen Milroe.
Right.
Like, you don't hear a word about Jalen Milroe.
See, when the Titans, we were talking about how the Bengals game was where everybody knew Levis wasn't coming back as the quarterback. I think the Milroe was the one guy that I looked at and said, if you're going to take a flyer on a quarterback, take it on Milroe, because at least he's got the physical traits of he's got 4.38 speed, and his best throws are deep balls. Like, he can throw the deep ball.
You would definitely have to set up an offense for him.
Right. It would be the Malik Willis pick all over again. Like, that is the same things that Malik Willis, everyone said that he was good at, is, hey, he's really athletic, he's really fast, and he throws a good deep ball. It didn't work out with Malik, but this was in a situation where you're looking at the Titans as the 7th pick or the 8th pick.
And they were also a team that has a guy now. They gave their money to Sam Darnold. And I'm sure I haven't looked over that deal. I'm gonna guess it's good for 2 or 3 years, and it might be a longer deal than that. But we all know there's the escape year. Yeah. And so they've given themselves an insurance policy, and they've given Milroe time. They've given him time to develop. Now they can't make the same mistake the Titans did and make him their 2.
Yeah.
And you make him their 3.
Right. And just put him away for 2 years.
Because Malik, I mean, the worst thing the Titans did to I'm not one for saying this team ruined him. Malik did not need to play.
No.
And, the head coach told me he was confident he could put together a game plan to win with him. And he couldn't.
Yeah, that's why they should have just brought in a veteran, because like when the other option was Logan Woodside, it's like
I would have rather seen Logan Woodside out there.
It was not good. And Malik Willis, he still did almost win in Arrowhead on Sunday Night Football against the Chiefs.
The Titans almost won.
Yes. Yeah. The defense was good that day. Travis Kelce threw off his helmet and a Titans player's helmet and didn't get flagged.
Rashad Weaver lost containment.
Right.
They lost the game.
On the YouTube chat, we have somebody saying ceiling is 4 wins, floor is 2008 Lions. Like that.
Well, I kind of brought that up. If Cam gets hurt.
Oh yeah, if Cam gets hurt.
I mean, if Cam gets hurt in the preseason, and knock on wood.
And you have to run Brandon Allen out there for 17 games for sure. They could lose every game.
Yeah, and I'm not just saying that to hate him. I mean, look, Brandon Allen's been in the league 10 years and he doesn't have 2,000 yards.
Yes, but and that's what the Lions had at quarterback in that 2008 season.
Who did they have?
Was Orlovsky playing on that team?
Was he one of like 7 they rolled out there?
Let's see. Because I know their quarterback, it wasn't anybody who ever did anything. Orlovsky. 1,600 yards, 8 touchdowns, 8 picks that season. Did anybody else
get 4-0 in the preseason
playing time? Let's see. Here were their quarterbacks: Drew Stanton, Dan Orlovsky, John Kitna, Dante Culpepper.
See, Kitna was a great fantasy player.
He was,
because he was always on terrible teams and he'd throw the ball 50 times.
Right, they were down 30-0, and he just.
I'm gonna guess they were banking on because it's been a while. I'm gonna guess they were banking on Stanton that year.
Yeah,
because Stanton was the Cowboys' backup, and there were people who thought he was a starter. Because wasn't he the other quarterback at Michigan with Brady?
He was at Michigan State.
Oh, he was at Michigan
State. Second round pick in 2007. So yeah,
Okay.
that was his second year. He played 3 games. Orlovsky played 10, started 7. Kitna started 4. Dante Culpepper started 5. Drew Henson started 2. So
That was end of the line.
They
Dante
played
Culpepper.
5 different quarterbacks that year. So
they were either washed or never clean.
Right. Like if Cam Ward goes down, for sure, it could be that bad. But if Cam Ward's healthy, just the quarterback play alone will keep you in games enough to hopefully not go 0-17.
You have to think so. You have to think that the quarterback play is going to be higher than it was a year ago. Now, we could all be wrong.
Right. We said the same thing about the offensive line for the past 3 years.
But Mason Rudolph and Will Levis never did in college what Cam Ward did.
Yep.
In fact, nobody's ever done what Cam Ward did.
Yep.
He's got more touchdowns than anybody in college football history. So, and I'm not saying that makes him the best quarterback ever. I'm just saying there is evidence to believe you have upgraded at that position. Now he's going to have to prove you right. And if he doesn't, you all get fired. That's the way the league works.
Right. 615-737-1025 is our phone number. We'd love to hear from you. Our phone line's driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com. Cam Ward still has not stepped to the podium. We'll take a quick break, and we will come back right after this.
For a long time
after
practice.
I kind of figured so. So maybe it could be closer to like 11:30 when he comes on. 615-737-1025. Jake Lyman, Corey Curtis, Connor Newt, next man up, 1025 The Game. Next man up, 102.5 The Game. Jake Lyman, Corey Curtis from News 2, Connor Newt with you. Titans have finished practice down in Atlanta. Day 2 of joint practices with the Falcons. Yesterday, not good. Today, better. I think although Calvin Ridley says the Titans won, I think the general consensus is that the Titans played the Falcons evenly today down there in Flowery Branch, Georgia. We are still waiting to see Cam Ward at the podium. We will bring that to you live when he steps up. So excited to hear from Cam Ward after, again, what seems like a good day, but he did have as Paul Kaharski put it, a Will Levis-like throwaway that led to an interception late in practice in the full team drills. So Cam Ward, we were just going through the Titans' ceiling and floor, and it hinges on Cam Ward. If he stays healthy, I think you feel good that this team wins more games than it did last year. If he doesn't stay healthy, we were saying that there is absolutely no floor. But we were saying that with Cam Ward he has proven at the college level that he can be a really good player. A texter on our text line driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com, 6932 says, Trevor Lawrence was a great college quarterback too. What has he done in the NFL? Well, he's won a playoff game in the NFL. Like, obviously he hasn't lived up to the hype of.
He's better than Will Levis.
Yeah.
That's my point.
Trevor Lawrence got himself.
And I'm not a Trevor Lawrence fan.
Me
at
neither.
all. But he's better than Will Levis.
Right.
With last year with Trevor Lawrence, the Titans win 6 or 7 games.
Yeah, I think easily. Trevor Lawrence has not been the quote unquote generational player everyone expected him to be. He was talked about like Andrew Luck when he came out.
He doesn't push the team forward.
No.
He just plays.
Yep. And that's not good enough when you take a guy number 1 overall.
Nope.
And
you've got to change things.
If Cam Ward ends up being Trevor Lawrence, I think there's a lot of disappointment.
Yeah.
Although he would be the first Titans first-round pick quarterback since Steve McNair
to get a second
contract. So at least it would be better than the past. But I think there would be disappointment because when you take a guy number 1 overall, you expect him to put you in the Super Bowl conversation.
I mean, they paid Trevor Lawrence and they named the stadium after him. And I'm just and I'm like, he hasn't done anything.
Yeah.
I mean, not to live up to that standard. I mean, he's been just a guy.
They paid him because of who he was expected to be,
and because they were terrified of taking another shot.
Right.
They're like, well, he's not awful.
Yep.
And they keep talking about him like, well, he is one of the best quarterbacks. He's going to show you. We believe in him. We see this. Well, I haven't seen it.
Yep.
I haven't seen it. I mean, I know you say you see it. There's a lot of people who saw great stuff from Nathan Peterman, and they brought him back, and they brought him back, and they brought him back. And every time we played the game, he was terrible. All right. Tim Boyle, the Titans brought him in and watched him on the practice field. He looks good. He throws the ball, blah, 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 blah. He's 0.6. All right. 0.6. At some point, you've got to be the difference maker. You can't just play quarterback. You've got to be the difference maker. And that's what we're talking about with Trevor Lawrence. And that's what we're talking about, getting the astronomical money that he got. He got money that says, go out and win me football games. Don't go, 20 for 32 for 204 yards, 1 touchdown, and we lost 21-19.
It's fair.
I used to talk with a former host on this show in this station, I should say. And the one thing we would always agree on is with 2 minutes to go, if you're on defense and Trevor Lawrence has the football, you feel good about winning. You feel good about winning. Look, there are worse quarterbacks you can play. You know that. But he doesn't scare you.
No.
He doesn't scare you. At least I could be wrong. There might be an NFL coach or two that Trevor Lawrence, they go, oh, I don't want to play this guy. But if that's your case, then you need to go coach somewhere else.
Not that you take a guy number 1 overall, there's expectations that come with that. But it was even higher for Trevor Lawrence. I mean, he went and won a national championship as a freshman at Clemson.
Yeah. Well, and we heard about Trevor Lawrence when he was a sophomore in high school.
This is the next guy coming out. But if
he was like LeBron,
let's say Joe Burrow had Trevor Lawrence's career and you flip-flop it and Trevor Lawrence has been Joe Burrow and has played in a Super Bowl, I think that makes a lot more sense because Joe Burrow was a relative unknown before his last season at LSU. Like, you knew
but
he
was the first pick.
Right. He was the first pick.
Played like it.
But I think you look at Joe Burrow, the expectations were high, kind of like Cam Ward of being a first overall pick. You're the first overall pick, but Trevor Lawrence was here.
But and what should we say about Joe Burrow? His first year was meh. It wasn't great.
He beat the Titans.
Yeah, he wasn't great. He got hurt, but it wasn't great. And they won 3 games, I think, that year after he got hurt.
Yes.
So, that's why I say, like, we'll see what Cam does, and we'll see what the progression is. But with Trevor, we've had a few years to see that he's not dragging the Jags over the finish line. I mean, they brought in, Gabriel, they brought in Christian Kirk, and Kirk had a really good year. They've drafted Thomas, who looks like a good player.
Yep. You trade up to go get Travis Hunter.
If the Jaguars have a bad year this year, it's going to look really bad for him.
Right.
Because it's time. It's time. It's almost give up time.
We talk about how there's always someone next on the chopping block. And like right now for the Titans, it's Brian Callahan.
Yep.
If things go bad, it's not on Cam Ward, it's on Brian Callahan.
It's not on Mike Borgonzi.
Trevor Lawrence had a long line in front of him because of how highly regarded he was coming out. But I think he's gotten himself to the front of the line at this point of like, all right.
And you brought in a quarterback's coach.
Yes.
I mean, and Doug Peterson was a offensive coach, and you got him fired.
Yep. You've now gotten 2 Urban Meyer's an outlier.
Urban Meyer did it himself.
Two coaches have gotten fired.
Yep.
A GM's gotten fired. You've revamped everything around him. It's like, all right, at some point, it's you.
Yeah.
And that whole actually, Trevor was the year before that. I was thinking the whole draft class, but the draft class behind Joe Burrow, like Tua and Herbert, who we just talked about during the break, like they're kind of in similar spots of, all right, like we've seen the talent. You've got us to the doorstep.
Yeah.
You gotta do something.
Herbert's
here.
been. Wouldn't you say Herbert's been way better?
Herbert, yes, in terms of what he's shown us, he's been better than Lawrence, but still,
he's got to show it. He needs to win.
His 2 playoff games have been very uninspiring.
Well, and we talked about it. There's some of the Trevor Lawrence with him that you need to do it in winning time.
Yep.
And if now he is got a superior head coach now with a superior game plan. And that coach is going to put him in position to play big games. And his fate, his legacy will be decided in how he responds in those situations. And, because like we're talking about, it all looks good for him right now. But he's going to have to, where was he drafted? Number 3?
5th.
And that's why he's not held to the same standard. As Trevor
there
Lawrence.
Is difference. There's a big difference between the 5th overall pick and the 1st overall pick.
And Anthony Richardson was
3rd or 4th. Yes.
4th. And look, he's 4th. He's a total disaster and bust at this point. That's not just me picking on the Colts.
I mean, that play on Thursday night.
Yeah.
It's like,
it's terrible.
How do you not?
Jake Locker did the same thing against Houston when he blew up his shoulder. He got his shoulder dislocated.
You cannot let a guy. I mean, David Ajabo is a big dude. Well, you can't let him come free.
Well, he's coming. You don't have protection over it. He has 2 safety valves there. You always throw
into the blitz.
Yeah.
Yep.
And so he had 2 guys, and you can freeze it. See these. All he's got to do is dump it over that guy's head, and they're running. But he has 0 awareness. That's why he much like Malik Willis, like we're talking about, he did not need to play. They hurt him by forcing him out there. He needed to practice for a year, maybe 2. But they forced him out there, and now it's a disaster. And they've got Danny Dimes in there, who's, they're going to win 5 games,
right? And that's why when we're talking about this Titan ceiling, it's like you get to play the Colts twice, you get to play the Jaguars twice, even the Texans. Like you beat the Texans last year with that horrible team in Houston.
Yeah,
like the division makes it that as long as you can play competent football, you can string together a couple of wins.
Yeah, I think everybody thinks the Texans kind of was an anomaly last year in the way they stepped back some.
Right.
Because the quarterback was not quite as good as he was as a rookie. So I think there's still a healthy amount of respect for them. But yeah, if you don't go 3-1 against the Jags and the Colts, and I would say if I'm the Jags and I don't go 3-1 against the Titans and Colts, and if I'm the Colts and I don't go 3-1 against the Jags and Titans, that's the way it goes.
Yeah.
You need to win at least 3 of those games if you're one of those 3 teams.
Yep.
You just do. The bottom of this division is dreadful. It's dreadful. And if you can't take advantage of it, You're picking first or
That
second.
means you're going to be
7 of the last 20 first overall picks have gone to the AFC South.
Yeah. Yeah, we mentioned that on Thursday. Titans had 2, Jaguars have had 2, Colts have had 1, and Texans have had 2.
Yeah.
So there you go.
They've taken turns being the absolute worst team in the league.
615-737-1025 is our phone number. 30 minutes left in the show. We'd love to hear from you. Again, we're waiting on Cam Ward to step to the podium after joint practice with the Falcons. Hoping it's soon. And when he does step up, we will bring that to you live. Jake Lyman, Corey Curtis, Connor Newt, next man up here on 102.5 The Game. Final half hour on this Wednesday. Next man up, 102.5 The Game. Jake Lyman, Corey Curtis, Connor Newt with you. Chase and Big Joe coming up at the top of the hour. Sure, they'll have a ton of thoughts on joint practices today between the Titans and the Falcons. Day 2 down in Atlanta. Yesterday, Titans got beat. Couldn't move the ball on offense. Seemed like Michael Penix picked him apart today. Much better based on what we've seen, although Cam Ward did end the day with again, Paul Kaharski saying Will Levis-like throwaway that ended in an interception. We are still waiting to hear from Cam Ward as he will do a post-practice press conference at some point. We hope before the end of the show, so we can bring some of that to you live as Cam Ward speaks from Atlanta. Jake Lyman, Corey Curtis. Corey, we heard today from Brian Callahan that it's going to be a similar process for Cam Ward on Friday of probably
it will
2 drives.
be in all 3 games.
Okay, so you're thinking next week it'll be the same too?
Yes, and I heard you talking about this earlier, and so I did want to comment on
Yep.
it. Yes, Cam needs to play, and getting 2 drives is good, and I'm good with that. But if you wanted to play Cam more than 2 drives, that would mean you'd have to put your offensive line out there for more than 2 drives.
Yeah.
You'd have to put Calvin Ridley out there for more than 2 drives.
Yeah, you're not going to just hang him out there to dry.
Yeah, so you may want to play Cam for more drives, but you don't want to play those other guys. And you can't do one without the other. So I think that part of it is a huge part of that conversation is, yes, we want Cam to play, but we got 5 offensive linemen, which we have invested heavily in, and like Zeitler's not going to play. He did say that again.
Yep.
So you're going to have 3 of the starters out there on the offensive line. And, they don't want to burn those guys out. They don't want to risk injury with Skoronski and Latham and with Dan Moore. And so they need those guys too. And so I think that's as big of a reason for limiting Cam to 2 drives as it is limiting Cam to 2 drives.
Yeah, I saw a texter earlier and I lost the text, but said, we want to see Cam Ward for a full half. And I don't see the real advantage of that. Like, yeah, you want to give him game reps, but by the second series, you're not seeing any starters from the defense if you were seeing them at all to start.
I don't think we're going to see him Friday night either from Atlanta.
So,
but what you have seen is 3 head-to-head, fully padded practices.
Right.
And whether they went well or didn't go well, that's virtually the same as going out there and playing in the preseason.
And I said it earlier with the Vikings that, maybe you see more from there, but it's the last one. Cam Ward is at the podium now. Let's take it over to Atlanta to hear what the quarterback has to say.
Day-to-day progress, you felt comfortable and confident with where you guys were, not just individually, but as a team?
I think that's the biggest thing, just us continue to go together. The whole trip, just being around each other the whole time. And then just day to day, we starting to put it together, the little things. I think that's the biggest thing that, we want to accomplish out of, joint practice. The little things going to win this games.
What do you think this team is in terms of identity building?
I'll say our biggest asset right now is just our physicality. Up from the trenches, I think the O-line and D-line bring that every day to practice, whether we playing against ourselves or going against another opponent. And I think that's going to be our standpoint throughout the whole year and, even into the future. And so those guys up front are going to be the reason why we win a lot of games.
Cam, when you're coming into joint practices like this, back-to-back, what's the preparation like? What's your communication like with Brian Callahan, Bo Hardegree, Nick Holtz?
Just getting in there, going through my reads. It's really all base plays that we're running because we're not really game planning for whether he's playing Tampa or Atlanta here in the joint practices. And it's really just about getting the time and footwork with myself and the receivers. And that's something that we got to get fast. Games right around the corner, real football games. And, I'm looking forward to keep building that chemistry with them.
Last year, a lot of slow starts. This year, obviously, you're new here, but you got a couple slow starts. For you in practice, like what's your mindset like coming in and making sure that you don't have that slow start?
Just being aggressive. The only thing we had slow starts. It's been more of just not being disciplined on the first snap, whether it's my position or another player's position. It's just little details, whether it's a penalty on us, whether it's a turnover on us, or just an all-around bad play on us. It's just us not starting fast on the first play, just in assignment-wise.
What do you think that got better from yesterday to today as you go back and look at yesterday's practice and then compare it to today?
Well, I just think we made plays today on the perimeter. The quarterbacks, us 3, putting the ball in a receiver's position to have him let it make a play for us. So I think that's the biggest difference from yesterday and today is that we were able to make plays, in the passing game. I think the running game is always going to be one of our standpoints. I think today we averaged probably like 5 to 6 yards a pop every time we hand it off to the backs. And I just think the O-line just brought the physicality even more to what they did yesterday.
What do you think when the ball leaves your hand and you realize you didn't put it out of bounds and the DB's got a chance there on that throwaway?
Really just pain. That's my first time doing it, so can't make it happen again. I mean, I'd rather do in the practice, do in the game, so I really don't even trip about it. The only thing you can do is throw it harder out of bounds or just throw it straight at their head coach or something.
That happened in the game last week. You didn't get picked off, but it didn't make it to the sideline. I know you rarely make the same mistake twice. So what was it that, allowed it to happen today?
Just not putting enough on it. Even when I throw on my back foot, I got to know to put more on it. And then just continuously learn the new rules. I don't really have to throw it far out of bounds. I can throw it right at the yard line marker and dirty right out of bounds. So just continue to just learn the new rule nuances of the NFL, knowing how to throw it away or when I need to throw it away, then also just put more on it.
Three joint practices. How do you feel like this offense stacks up against pro defenses? You've seen it live. How do you feel this stacks up?
Well, I think we honestly have the ability to be a top 10 offense. But also it goes on every guy in that huddle, including myself, bringing the right mindset every day. And us also playing together. I think that's the biggest things that we always play together. We never point fingers at each other on both sides of the ball. And we just gotta always have that mindset that we can be the best offense in the NFL. And then it really just comes with just us caring about each other on the field, off the field. And I think a lot of that stuff will translate to the game.
What are the tangible things you've seen that give you that confidence that you can be a top 10 offense?
Just the playmakers that I have in the backfield with me, the running back core, then especially in the receiving core. I think I also have a top 5 receiver core in the NFL, including the young guys who are able to make plays. It's really all about just us or myself putting the ball in their frame of work, letting them make a play. And then it's also those guys being aggressive to make plays for the team. And then the O-line, I don't have to worry about them. That's going to always be the standpoint. Those guys, they bring the energy every day, especially starting with JC. So I'm excited to be behind those guys. Those guys pass protection. They keep me clean. Really, I would say 8 times out of 10. I know I'm going to take a bad sack this year. They're going to give up a sack this year, but we just got to continue to play, good, clean football.
How's your relationship on the field with Alec come along? It seems like there's been a concerted effort to get him the ball the past couple of days. What's your confidence level throwing in his direction?
I'm always confident throwing to Elliott. I think as a route runner standpoint, I think we stole him when we drafted him, especially me playing against him in the Pac-12. So I've seen him for quite a long time. I'm excited to, continue to play with him in real football games. And I think his biggest attribute that he doesn't get, I would say, the recognition for is how physical he is. Especially being that big and strong as he is, he can move off the line of scrimmage. He can move guys, corners in and out of their breaks. And I just think the more that he continues to grow, continues to take little things from Red, me taking little things from Red, from all the vets who've done extensive amount of time in the league, I just think he's gonna end up helping us.
So Cam, you said a moment ago how you feel like you guys have like a top 5 receiving core. I guess why is it so important for you to kind of put out that kind of belief in your guys? I mean, I know you don't really care about the outside, but external people wouldn't have that belief about, your group. Why is it so important for you to kind of put those words out there in the ether, so to speak?
I just think because we all believe it, the whole receiving core. I love speaking out to existence. I tell those guys that they're the best, and it really just comes down to us being on our P's and Q's every week. And that's where yesterday's practice we weren't, and today's practice we were a lot better. And I just think the biggest thing about myself in the receiving core is that we got to always have confidence with each other. I know they're gonna get hemmed up on a route. They know I'm gonna throw an interception. But at the end of the day, no matter what bad play goes on, we gotta always have that confidence in each other that we're gonna make the next play.
It seems like sometimes when you guys find some difficulty mid-range or downfield, there's a sense of like, okay, let's reset, get back into rhythm by going short timing game or get to the check down quicker. Is that a fair assessment?
Say that question again.
Do you sometimes, as an offense, when maybe you guys have a miss or something goes wrong mid-range or downfield, you kind of say, hey, let's scale it back, let's get more into the short timing stuff and build up back to that?
I don't really think so. At least not in my mindset when I'm in the huddle. We miss a deep ball, I'll go deep again the next play, just better complete it. I think that's more Coach Callahan's, just us. If we do miss on deep ball, intermediate pass, him wanting to go quick game, just us getting positive yards, trying to stay on track. And I just think at the end of the day, like, we gotta complete those intermediate and deep passes. I mean, he's gonna call them a lot, and I have to be smart with the ball, whether it's open or if I need to check it down.
In the last couple of this, what do you feel like you need to work on the most to be ready?
Honestly, I think I'm at a point where I can go play a game with my guys physically, mentally. I think more the biggest thing I need to work on going to the game is just more reps at certain plays I haven't gotten the right amount of reps at. The new plays that we're adding, so getting more reps at those. I got a lot of reps at the base installs that Coach Callahan's put in, but just all the new little installs that he's added. Whether we're adding play here or there once a week, just getting more reps at those so I can see different coverages. But if we have to go play a game, I'll be fully prepared with the coach staff that I have.
The last couple quarterbacks that were selected number one, them and their head coach didn't make it to year two. I'm not saying that's going to happen here, but I know you have the confidence that it won't. What is it that makes you believe that you and Brian Callahan could break that somewhat of a trend?
I just think he's going to put me in the best position to succeed. And that's with my quarterback coach, Coach Bo, and the OC, Coach Nick. I'm trying to play as long as I can for Tennessee with those three guys at the helm. Those guys, they continuously give me feedback, even when I don't want feedback, and they continuously get me better. When I ask questions, they answer every question to the little detail as much as I need it. So I'm blessed to have those three, in the same room with me. They push me to be great. I want to be one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL, and I just think the more that we continuously build our relationship, us three, Coach Callahan, continuously getting to know what I like on the field, when I like it on the field. Then me also being smart with the ball and gaining that trust every day from him to have those play calls, whether he wants to go deep or do quick game. I just think he's going to end up helping all three of us out in the long run.
You haven't had stability much throughout your college career, but if you could get it here in the league, like how much would that really unlock your potential?
I think it'll unlock everything. You see it with the best quarterbacks out there. Tom Brady, he has stability. Lamar, he has stability. Pat, he has stability. And so I just think a lot of guys who have stability in the NFL can succeed. I wouldn't say at a faster rate, but can succeed long term. And I just think that's what we need in Tennessee. We haven't had that in a long time, but I think the guys we have right here, offensively and defensively side, I think we got the stability to do it.
One last one. How much responsibility do you feel to be this stability in this league, quarterback-driven league, number one pick? Do you feel like you're the guy that kind of has to be the person to make that success happen? Is that a pressure you feel?
It's not really a pressure I feel, but I know like I have to be the stability. I'm the one who calls the play call every day, every time in the huddle. Um, I'm who everybody looks at in the huddle. When we need explosive play, when we need motivation, and so it comes with the territory. I want the territory of being an NFL quarterback, and I would just say just on that part is that we just got to continue to build each other up. I would say the best thing about our huddle is that whether we have a bad play or nothing, if I have a bad play, we always build each other up. And just from the stability standpoint, just also just me and Coach Callahan just continuously building our relationship like we've been doing since he drafted me. He's one of the best head coaches out there. And I want to be a reason why at the end of the year he can be one of the top five head coaches in the NFL.
Cam Ward speaking after joint practices down in Atlanta. We will react to what he had to say and wrap up the show coming up next. Jake Lyman, Corey Curtis, Connor Newton, next man up, 102.5 The Game. Final segment on this Wednesday. Jake Lyman, Corey Curtis, Connor Newton, next man up, 102.5 The Game. Chase and Big Joe coming up next. They'll have plenty to react to the Titans' second joint practice with the Atlanta Falcons today. Much better today from all the reports down there in Georgia. Corey, before we get out of here, we just heard from Cam Ward.
Yep.
And I think there was some interesting answers there. Like
Mhm.
he thinks they can be a top 10 offense in the league.
Yeah.
I mean, I wouldn't count on it, but it's good to have confidence. And then saying top 5 wide receiver core in the league too.
I mean, but look, this is a guy who has always defied expectations.
Yep.
Right. I mean, one scholarship offer to Incarnate Word. So nobody, I'm sure he went to Incarnate Word saying, yeah, I'm going to win the job.
Right.
And everybody's like, yeah, whatever. And he went and won the job. And then he went to Washington State and he's going to, I'm going to do this. And like, no. And so what I remember this last spring before the draft, he had a live stream when he was playing video games.
Fortnite. Yeah.
Yeah. And he was talking about, he was Calvin Ridley, top 5 receiver.
Who are your top 5 running backs in the league? Tony Pollard,
Tajay
Spears.
Yeah. I mean, so like number one, he has this guy's back, which is smart. And today who did he give the credit when he talked about the identity of the team? Offensive, defensive line.
Yep.
Steve McNair would have done the exact same thing. All right. So it's smart. It's taking care of your guys. It's letting them know, I believe in you. That's all this is. He is leading. He's played quarterback since he was 5 years old. He knows what the position requires. And so the answers are reflecting it. It may sound disconnected to us. And you could say, does he honestly believe that? What did I say to you? Did anybody have the Commanders offense going in the top 10 last year?
Nope.
It was number 6. Number 6 in the entire NFL. Am I saying the Titans offense is going to be 6? No, I am not. But as you said, there are things that happen in the NFL every year that no one expects. We just want the Titans offense to be better.
Yeah.
To be competent.
Be the 17th best offense in the NFL.
But when we say, does he honestly believe they can do that? Yeah, because he believes in himself.
And if you don't believe, no one else is going to.
Absolutely.
So
look, I tell this to everybody all the time. If you can't look in the mirror and like the person that you see, your life will be miserable. There's no one who can fill that void for you.
Yep.
And also, no one else is going to like you if you don't like the person that you see in the mirror, because they can't like you for you. All right. And so, he's got that in spades.
Yes.
All right. And that, what did we say about Diego Pavia?
Right. It's dude's 5'10", and no one gave him a chance. But
dude, he's 3-0 against Alabama and Auburn.
Yep.
Okay. If I ever said, hey, Diego Pavia says he's going to go 3-0 against Alabama and Auburn, shut up. Go away.
Crazy.
Yeah, go away. But I mean, these guys that are wired that way, they believe it. Now they got to make it happen. But you know what they do? They tend to make it happen.
Yep. And that's the personality you need if you're going to be a quarterback in the NFL. I did like his answer about the attempted throwaway pick that he had there.
Yeah.
And I like that TD followed up, because Cam first said that's the first time that's happened.
Yeah, and he asked him about
TD
Saturday
said,
night.
well, it happened Saturday night too. You just got away with it. And Cam said, I got to adjust to the new rules and
the
make sure I know
NFL rules are different. And
Right.
all I got to do is get it to the line of scrimmage.
Yep.
And that is something to learn and to embrace. I mean, Patrick Mahomes does it all the time.
Yeah.
Just down.
Yep.
And he will get there. He will get there. But it's when you can acknowledge a mistake, that's number one. Don't get defensive. Acknowledge the mistake, and then how are you going to fix it?
Yep. And if he comes out on Friday night in the game against the Falcons and does it again, then maybe you start to be concerned that this is a legitimate problem. But
he had an answer how to fix it.
Right.
That's huge. Most players don't ever offer that. They just say, I got to play harder.
And it's better to have these happen now than when the games actually
they're going to happen, guys.
There's going to be mistakes, but hopefully not those mental errors like we saw. Corey, thanks for coming by.
Sure.
Hanging
Thanks
out.
for having me,
and make sure to tune in News 2 on Friday night.
5:30 pregame show, 6 o'clock kickoff. And yeah, you're going to see Cam Ward play. And there's no weather concerns this time because we're inside the dome.
Right. Inside, the field surface will be
and you can even watch the first half and still go watch high school football.
Right. Exactly. So plenty to look forward to Friday night. News 2, Titans and Falcons preseason game number 2. That'll do it for us. Andrew Allegretto will be in with us tomorrow to talk some Vandy football. Chase and Big Joe coming up next. You're on 102.5 The Game.